Yo, salamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How you doing, guys? Inshallah, you guys are doing well. Try to get the likes up before we actually get to the reaction. Man, they made a whole ton of blunders. Not gonna lie. So what we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna react to IP and Than's attempt of responding to me on the Islamic dilemma, and afterwards I'll be getting some guests up. If you guys want to come up, you can ask some questions in the end. But yeah, guys, let's make sure we get the live popping a bit before we actually start the reaction. And yeah, there was quite a few blunders. So this is going to be very educational for people to watch. They're going to see how incompetent these people are. And you can learn, you can get educated, inshallah, by this. So let's get started. You have to show face, akhi. Inshallah, tomorrow I will get my camera back. I just don't have my camera with me right now. I lend it to someone for a couple of days, but should be back tomorrow, inshallah. I should be going live on TikTok more once I get it back as well, because I can't really go live on TikTok without it. So yeah, guys, let's start sharing up the live. Let's, get this live going out. Yeah, guys, let's get some likes in here. Let people know that I'm live right now. And then we'll get into it. Time is right now in Australia. It's about 2 p.m. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Yeah, guys, what do you think? We started now or wait a couple more minutes? Wait for people to join in. Okay, I'll wait a few minutes. In the meantime, what I'll do, guys, is I'll go through my Twitter, show you guys some updates on that. I'm trying to get a Christian to debate formally whether Jesus prophesied Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. So we're trying to get that going. I have asked now for 4 times for a formal debate publicly, and no one is accepting the formal. So let me just show you guys what had occurred. So today, I made this post. I said, I'm asking for the 3rd time, does any Christian apologist have the courage to formally debate if Jesus prophesied Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam? You guys say it's a laughable argument, but I don't see any Christians willing to debate this. Let's get this rolling, guys. Tag here which should debate this with me formally, and we can organize this. So what had occurred was Captain Christianity replied and said, Sam has accepted it. And I said, okay, Sam's accepted it. Let's get the format going. Let's make it very simple. Let's do a normal, formal debate on a Christian platform, right? It's not even, I'm not even asking on a Muslim platform at this point. I really want this debate to happen to the point where I will go on a Christian platform and formally debate this topic. I got you. Look at this mess that just occurred afterwards in the DMs. Before we get to that, let me get to my statement here. So Sam has officially dodged the formal debate on whether Jesus prophesied Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam on a Christian platform, no less. And I'm going to ask for the fourth time, are there any Christians willing to formally debate whether Jesus prophesied Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam? Any takers at all? And here's the screenshots. So let's get through that. Here's the first one. He says, oh, he wants to do 5-minute openings followed by an open discussion. Guys, does that sound like a formal debate to you guys? Or does it sound like we're going to play patty cake with each other? What do you guys think? Then I said, we're doing just like any other debate, bro. Intro, rebuttals, cross-exam, conclusion, followed by Q&A. One question each. And the Q&As, right? Surely you're familiar with the distinction between... Yeah, this guy sounds like Than right now. Surely you're familiar with the distinction between formal and informal debates. Debates aren't all formal debates. Informal debates are still debates, even though the formal, I propose, is sort of a mix between the two, because there are timed openings. All I needed to respond to this guy was, bro, just read. Just read. Read what I said, bro. Do any Christian apologists have the courage to formally debate? I even said at the end here again, which should formally debate me, but you can't see right here. And bro, this guy, I'm telling you, because I was on Twitter, because I was so like surprised at the fact that he missed that on my tweet. Right? I was actually just on Twitter while I was eating at the time. And I was just looking because this guy left me on red, and I was like, why is this guy taking so long to reply? He was typing, he stopped typing, he typed, he stopped typing. Bro, it took him like 5 minutes to recuperate himself from this embarrassment. Then he finally said, after about 5 to, well, how long was this? Whatever it was, like about 5 to 8 minutes. I was responding to your claim that a formal debate is just like any other debate. It is not. Moreover, I said that the format I propose is a mix of formal and informal. What's your objection to this format? Guys, what do you think my objection to this format is? Have a think. That it's not a formal. Did I ask for a formal and informal? Did I ask for a formal? Bro responded as though he accepted the formal. You guys can't be serious. Then I said, my objection to this is that it isn't formal, dummy. Did I say I want a mixture of formal and informal? Or did I say I want a formal debate? Direct response, please. Don't waste my time. I know that you originally requested a formal debate. My question is, why? Like this guy, I owe this guy an explanation why I want a formal debate. You see how they love shit? Even in DMs, they shift goalposts like crazy. Specifically, what is your objection to doing a debate with Sam on your topic in the format I proposed? It still qualifies as a debate, and it's more than an informal debate. So even though it's not a formal debate, it's a bit... I'm giving you 5-minute intros, so it's not really an informal debate because you get 5-minute intros. This sounds like they're trying to explain the Trinity right now. Haven't you done informal debates with IP? Again, shifting goalposts. Whether I've done informal debates in the past or not has nothing to do with the fact that I said I want a formal. And this is the reason why I don't go up on his panel. I went on IP's panel here, and he doesn't curse my mother. When I'm there, he doesn't do that. Unlike Sam, where I have a clip where he did so. And by the way, on his platform, he spoke for about 5 minutes. I spoke for 5 seconds, and he manifested. Absolutely manifested. Okay? And started cursing my mother and whatnot. Dirty, fat, bald-headed, depressed, divorced man. Going out just cursing people's mothers online, even other Christians. He's a psychopath. Then I said to his question about why don't you do it informally, he says, oh, my question's why. I said, I don't need to answer why, bro. Who do you think you are? coming up to me, I say I want a formal debate, and you say, "Oh, what? Oh, we accept your challenge." But why do you want a formal? That's not accepting the challenge. That's you pretending like you accepted it and then shifting the goalposts. I requested a formal debate. If Sam doesn't want to do it, then you've wasted my time. Khalas. Very simple. You want to do a formal debate? We'll do a formal debate. You don't want to do a formal debate? Get out of my face. I'm not doing any wasting of times, bro. All right, boys, I'm going to get you up before I start the reaction, okay? Yo, Boris.
Assalamu alaikum. You hear me?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. You became Muslim again?
Yeah, I talked on Ali Dawa's live yesterday for like almost a whole hour back and forth, and in the end, I realized that my arrogance and confusion and lost temporary path got in the way of my conscience. So we were able to hash it out. He was able to answer the questions that I had. So I just wanted to come in and tell you that, hopefully I stay on the straight path of Islam.
Barakallah feek, akhi. You got Discord?
I do not. No, I haven't downloaded it yet. No.
Okay, download it. I'll invite you to our server. Anytime you have any sort of these questions, I recommend, like I told you before, asking your local imam about very fringe, polemical questions. They're not going to have the answer, right?
Right.
As I'm sure you've noticed by now, right? But yeah, hopefully everything's been cleared up. The stuff I explained to you regarding the age of Aisha and how no one objected to that, and I gave you all those sources that show it was a norm, and it's like a modern Christian critique. So becoming a Christian doesn't really solve it. Like you're gonna have to call your own saints and church fathers and on your church writers. You're gonna have to say all of them are like just pedophiles and that none of them interpreted the Bible correctly or the Old Testament or Jesus' words. It's really like a cope, right? So what I'm gonna do is, bro, just you make your Discord, add me up, okay? Or you know what's better? Just have my Gmail down, email me. So it's gonna be Dean Response.
I'm gonna write it in the private chat if that's okay.
Yeah, it's all good. So Dean Response.
Dean Response. Okay.
233
233
58@gmail.com.
Okay, just to make sure I got everything right. So DEENRESPONDS23358@gmail.com.
Yes.
Okay.
And what we'll do is, akhi, another thing. So if you don't mind, my discussion I had with you, don't mind if I upload that, or because what I'm thinking is to really expose how like deceptive these guys are online, these Christian apologists. I'm gonna format a Zut argument as a troll argument. Then I'm gonna follow it up with I think I found the discussion you had showing his deception that Avery is using an argument that his own Christian brothers don't even. David Wood made it clear to Apostate Prophet that he doesn't believe it's a real argument. Apostate Prophet said he doesn't believe that David believes it's a real argument, and he doesn't believe it's a real argument. So you know,
Give me 1 second. I was able to hear you because I'm at work right now, hence the heavy breathing a little bit. So you said, just to recap real quick, because I got part of it and then it went muffled. So you're gonna upload our conversation that we had the other day and then include the conversation that I had with Ali Dawa yesterday?
No, not Ali Dawa, Avery.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
There's a small clip where Avery is trying to use the Zut argument, even though it's not a real argument, and his own Christian brothers say it's not a real argument, to try and give you doubts, right? I just want to expose his deception. As long as
we're on the same page, and I'm trusting you that you're not gonna like clown on me or anything. Like I'm not saying that.
No, of course not. Bro, even if you didn't, I didn't even know you came back to Islam. Alhamdulillah, I'm very happy at that. But even if you didn't, I still wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, no, if you want to check out Ali Dawa's conversation yesterday, I think he had a sheikh with him. I'm assuming that's what his title is because he had the red head covering. But they were on for like 3 hours yesterday, and I jumped in. I was still trying to be quote unquote argumentative and debative with what I was trying to talk about with you, because I did mention your name. So if you go watch that live, I'm pretty sure verbatim I kept it the same as how you and I discussed. But if I didn't, I do apologize. So that way nothing gets misinterpreted. That's why I wanted to come in here as well. But like I said, it was just out of arrogance and just being led astray. And I think even Ali Dawa, he brought up a good point that you can't leave something just because there's bad Muslims. It doesn't make the religion bad. It's just you've come across bad Muslims, which
Yes,
isn't good either.
exactly.
So
But yeah, akhi, I'm very happy for you. Alhamdulillah, you've come back to Islam. What
no,
I recommend,
alhamdulillah for everything, man. I'm happy too. Honestly, like I feel more at peace now that I came back, because ever since I temporarily left, I guess if that's what you want to call it. I was trying hard to follow up with these guys, David Wood and Avery and Sam.
yeah, but
Khalil, right?
now you've look when you look at these guys, all you need to see is one deception from them to just be like, okay, I don't want to watch. Like, why would I want to consume content from someone who's obviously lying between their teeth, right?
Right.
Just seeing that Zut argument and how they know it's not a real argument, but they just try to cause confusion amongst Muslims.
Right.
If a Muslim was doing this with a Christian argument, I would condemn him and boycott that guy. I would say, nope, that guy is not someone we support, right? The same way, I would expect Christians to come up and say, we do not support David Wood because he uses non-arguments, pretending they are arguments to try and cause doubts amongst Muslims.
Right. No, I
Anyways,
definitely agree with you, man, and I'm glad you were able to get me in, because I was like, man, I hope I catch this guy, because I doubt he saw Ali Dawa's episode with me on yesterday. But hopefully you go and watch that. Hopefully we can be in touch
inshallah.
with some insight, give some insight on that. And no, I mean, like I said, I'm back, and now I just got to figure out though, if I should just pray at home and not attend the masjid, just because, like I said, the community specifically that I was a part of, I mean, I didn't have the greatest experience with it, so I don't know if I should just try to research for another location, or just kind of just practice and learn on my own, and obviously
Yeah,
get gear
that's
and
what I
all
would
these
recommend. Try to find somewhere else, and yeah, obviously always have at home when you do have time, you do your own personal research and so on. But it's very important to attend a masjid. So yeah, you would most likely just try to relocate. But anyways, we'll touch base on email soon. Just send me an email later. We'll touch base and we'll get you on my Discord server. So in future, any questions pop up, you can always come there. But yeah, I'm just gonna continue the video from here, reacting. So hopefully you can benefit from this as well. But yeah, I'm very happy you became Muslim again.
Alhamdulillah,
Assalamu
man.
alaikum.
All right, man. Well, you take it easy. Wa alaikum salam. Jazakallah khair. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Have a good one.
Yeah. Okay. Taking guess at the end, guys. This is in the end. Yeah, we just got him up because he left Islam and came back. Alhamdulillah. Spoke to him the other day. Okay, so let's get this video up. All right. Before we do, actually, let's look at the comments. Let's look at the comments to see how low IQ these guys are. And by the way, if IP and them, they try to play victim a lot with like, oh, he called me stupid, or he called me dumb, bro. I had a debate with IP at the beginning. This was, let's say, a year and a half ago. Speaking about the age of Aisha, and I was nothing but respectful in that dialogue. What do you see afterwards? Him calling me stupid, idiot, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, like, dude, if you're gonna do that, then of course I'm gonna give you the same treatment. Especially if I do think you're low IQ. So bear that in mind, guys. They play this game where they try to play victim, even though they are the ones that start the hostility. So let's share this here. Let's look at the comments first. Let's gauge the level of IQ in this comment section. Dean's position is internally inconsistent. He claims the Injil is only Q and not Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John as a whole. Guys, have I ever said the Injil is only Q? Can I know from the chat? Did I ever say the Injil was only Q? I would love to know. Nope, that's one no, two no's, one lol. Never. No, 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 no. Okay. I think it's safe to say I never said that. Yeah, the passages he cites as particularly Muhammad والسلام, and Mark 2, verse 38, are not found in Q at all. Either the gospel is more than Q or his evidence collapses. Oh my God, this guy just refuted me. Refuted my position. That isn't. Look, 71 people like this, by the way. You see how easy it is online to just deceive someone so easily and so quickly? Hundreds of people saw this comment and now think my position is that. Unbelievable. Let's see. On the point of Jesus making lawful things forbidden by the Torah, this still wouldn't equate to claiming the Torah is corrupted. The Quran self-abrogates its own commandments at times, but this doesn't mean the Quran is claimed to have been corrupted or to contain things were never revealed by God. He's shifting the goalpost for them here. Because Sinai brings up that quote to say that he believes it could involve rectification and modification, right? So now they're shifting the goalpost because they've realized their argument doesn't make sense in the life. So this guy noticed IP and Dan's argument doesn't make sense, and then he tries to make a different argument now because IP and Dan's argument was rubbish in the live. So let's do one more. Let's look for one more. Yeah, let's do this one. So before the Quran was even written, Muhammad ﷺ was telling Jews and Christians to judge by the Torah and Gospel respectively by using the not yet written Quran as a criteria to how they should interpret the Torah and the Gospel. No, that's wrong. So again, like I'm going to show, I already explained in the video. The Quran says to judge by the Torah and Gospel in the context of where you judge by the descriptions of the Prophet. So when you have descriptions of the Prophet already in mind, when you're judging by it, then obviously you're only going to judge by the true parts. The Gospel and Torah always had descriptions of the Prophet ﷺ, so it was always sufficient to prove Islam. Okay, let's begin now. So let's get the actual video up now. I like to gauge the comments sometimes to see how really stupid his audience is. Okay. Is the Discord only for new Muslims? So the Discord is, Muslims can pay to come in. There's my notes in there. You get direct contact to myself and so on. And sometimes I go in VC in there for you to ask questions and so on. But if you're a new Muslim, or if you're a Muslim that has constant exposure to doubts and you want to ask questions, then I let you come on there for free. So the $10 is really just to support the dawah. So let's begin this. What the heck? I didn't even see this part. I'm just concerned about the part where they react. Yo, guys, do you want me to go through his whole presentation? Because it's pretty long. And it doesn't really matter because he still says the arguments after he gives the presentation and defines it. So we're going to skip his presentation. And we're just going to bear in mind his responses to what I'm saying, because he does repeat the points from the presentation. But the presentation is just to make it give a background or simplify stuff for people. So I'm going to skip that part. But if you want to watch it, you can go back to their video. But yeah, he does link back these points in the presentation later. So there's not really a point in playing it. Let's see. Let's start from here.
Hi.
I can show the video. I know how videos work.
Okay.
The dumbest Christian argument ever. You see?
to Than's very low IQ
Very
video
low.
about the quote unquote Islamic dilemma. No one uses this argument anymore, to be honest, now that Libiano and I went on their live and completely decimated them. IP, Chris, Than, Nick, it was literally a 4v1 on Libiano and a 4v1 on my part for about 1 hour each.
No, that first of all, guys, Muslims question: are you guys sick and tired of them constantly lying to you? Like seriously, like how do you guys do? Like let me just show you something. I'll show you how dumb. How he made it.
Yo, people get that time stuff. That's 13 minutes. You're a stutter butter. You're a stutter butter rabbi. Yo, why is this guy stuttering so much? He doesn't even believe what he's saying. That's why he's stuttering so much.
Claim that is demonstrably false. We stopped using it. Okay, let's go to our lives. Oh, lo and behold, okay, they were on this. We did a call-in show the following week where we brought up the Islamic dilemma. Go watch that. It's right there. So the very next week, we were using the Islamic dilemma. So like, are you guys sick and tired of your dawah guys?
Bro, I'm saying in the field of Christianity and polemics, no one's really using it anymore because you made a fool out of yourself. Of course, you're going to continually use it. The same way how David Wood will continuously use the Zut argument. But once people see that he has no case for it, right? If one of us formally debates David Wood on the Zut argument, he'll get destroyed. Layman Christians will stop using it because they'll see how stupid it is, right? Likewise, layman Christians are starting to see the Islamic dilemma is trash because of your guys' performance.
Lying to you constantly. Honestly, like, how do you, and then what actually happened in the stream when they came on? Quite simple. It was Libiano threw a temper tantrum, wanted to constantly interrupt. We eventually had to kick him because he could not act like an adult. And then Dean spent the last time not really dealing with the Islamic dilemma, but trying to get us to. He realized he couldn't get us to say heresies.
Yo, I'm gonna skip this part because it doesn't really matter, but I want him to deal with the substance. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So, guys, we don't even have to listen to what he's saying. We know that they did a terrible job, and Christians believe they did a terrible job because Sam Shamoon. You just need to go to my Twitter, bro. Sam Shamoon was saying that Chris was getting baked. You were making blunders. Like, you just have Nick was making blunders. He was literally saying in the comment section. Like, even Christians like Sam were admitting you guys did bad. So
Yeah, just the following week. That's it, And at the BakeCon this weekend.
just gonna make this concluding video. I know we got the poop dilemma guy. It's very
Poop dilemma.
Guys, do you poop?
Yeah, I forgot how funny my video was.
Hold on. This is the thing.
We got the poop dilemma guy. It's very direct. Jesus in his humanity.
Do you poop?
Dude, I'm not answering anymore. Like, it's disgusting. So who's going to be?
Notice I asked him that question 2 times. Meanwhile, he has to ask me the question, does Jesus know the hour? How many? Like 30 times because his script wasn't working.
The script wasn't working. He didn't get the clip.
Yeah, because you fell into the agnoete, bro. Even Christians on Twitter were trying to defend your position, not knowing that they're falling into the agnoete as well.
Clips he wanted. He had to keep asking it so he could try to get the clips he wanted, obviously. I mean, you can't take someone out of context if you don't say the things he needs us to say, so he can take us out of context later. That's how it works.
Yeah, this whole video is just Dean projecting his intellectual insecurities onto me.
Yo, that's what you're doing this whole live. What? This guy had to make, bro, you guys believe this guy had to make a whole poll at the end of the live, and we'll get to it. He had to make a whole poll at the end of the live asking, guys, does the poop dilemma clip make me look bad or Dean look bad? Please let me know on this poll. And he's saying that I'm projecting my insecurity.
Just a weak little man.
I'm honestly wondering if he's going through the 5 stages of grief because of the Islamic dilemma. First it was like, there's no Islamic dilemma. Then it was bargaining. Well, okay, maybe we can do conscious edits. And now he's in the anger phase. He's just, insulting and throwing a fit about it.
Yeah.
Trying to present the Islamic dilemma, and we're going to show how he's going to fall into non sequiturs and just show his complete illiteracy of the Quran. Without further ado, be sure to
we can pause right there really quickly.
See more videos like this.
Okay.
Let's get
because I'm going to get a little nerdy here because, oops.
You're always nerdy, man. What are you talking about?
Okay, well, I couldn't find a tweet, mind you, but this isn't even an original thought that Dean had. There's a guy on X called Muslim Cats or something like that.
Yo, shout out to Ice Cube. Ice Cube made it, man. Yo, but they ended up blocking Ice Cube. Muslim Cat on Twitter, guys. He's an intellectual beast on Twitter. He's actually the one that sent me the clip. And when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, this is so bad. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a response to it. Shout out to Ice Cubes.
I think I eventually blocked him because
Oh, really?
he just like constantly like basically stalking me on X and then just started insulting me. And I always have a rule. You start insulting me, I
Yo, W Ice Cube in the chat. W Ice Cube in the chat for making IP block.
block you. So I blocked him. I'm sick and tired of this the weird stuff. Like, dude, I'm married. Calm down, okay?
Yeah. So that Muslim Cats guy found that reel and then goes, for somebody that thinks they know philosophy, Than doesn't know what a non sequitur is.
Okay.
So this isn't even an original thought by Dean, mind you, but let's just talk about that.
Is the so it not being an original thought makes the argument bad, or it's worthy mentioning? Okay, who used the Islamic dilemma first? Was it you guys? Oh, you took it from someone else. Oh, okay. I didn't get the point here. Ice Cube saw the clip, sent it to me, made one point that I used because it's true, and you guys want to mention it like, he didn't even make it on his own, dude. I don't care. If it's true, it's true. I'll use it. I don't care where it comes from.
Quickly, because again, my version of the Islamic dilemma is not an internal critique. It's an external probabilistic argument that I make. So
remember when they used to say the Islamic dilemma is an internal critique? Oh, even better. Remember when Chris used to say that the Islamic dilemma is an internal and external critique at the same time? These guys are all over the place.
calling an inductive or Bayesian argument a non sequitur is kind of a category mistake because non sequiturs are about things that logically follow, and probabilistic arguments are about probabilistic support, not.
Guys, wallahi, I don't even specialize in philosophy, and I know this guy's wrong. He thinks non sequiturs only apply for deductive arguments. When you say, oh, this doesn't follow, right? When a deductive, I'll just explain it quickly, right? Deductive arguments are things that just like logically follow. They always follow, okay? If it's valid, then it's going to be necessarily sound, right? Because it's always going to follow. So an argument with Islamic dilemma, obviously they're not arguing that. They're arguing based on probability. So with probability, it's going to be a probabilistic argument. That's induction, okay? That's an inductive argument. Both inductive and deductive arguments can be non sequiturs. All non sequitur means is it doesn't follow. That's all it means. So this guy's wrong. So he didn't bring any citations for what he's saying right now. I'll bring some citations you can just easily find online to show that this guy doesn't know the basics. Bear in mind, guys, these people call themselves Inspiring Philosophy. Inspiring Philosophy had the channel for about more than a decade, and they don't even know what a non sequitur is. Inspiring Philosophy has a master's degree in philosophy, and he doesn't know that Than is making a mistake here, saying that non sequiturs are making a category mistake because it's an inductive argument, not deductive. What? So this is from Britannica, from a university professor of philosophy at the University of Pittsburgh. This is what he writes on this. The fallacy of non sequitur, just means it does not follow, occurs when there is not even a deceptively plausible appearance of valid reasoning, because there is an obvious lack of connection between the given premises and the conclusion drawn from them. Some authors, however, identify blah blah blah, right? So that's not really relevant. Okay, nothing in here says it has to be a deductive argument. Okay, even better, the type of, and this is from the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy. Okay, so this is a peer-reviewed academic resource. It's not just a random website. Okay, and then in the stuff they have for fallacies, look what they say. This is the type of non sequitur that Than went into, okay? Which is irrelevant reason. This fallacy is a kind of non sequitur in which the premises are wholly irrelevant to drawing the conclusion. Example, this type of beer is the top selling beer in Thailand. So it will be the best beer for Canadians. Okay, they're irrelevant to one another. And that's what Than was saying. If we just watch the clip, the Quran says the Torah and Gospel were revealed previously. He reads that verse and he says, oh, if the Quran says the Torah and Gospel were revealed previously, Actually, no. The way he started was like this: if you guys believe that the Quran says that the books are distorted, then why does Allah say He revealed it previously? What? This got nothing to do with one another. The books today being distorted has nothing to do with God revealing it to Moses and Jesus centuries before. And that's a prime example of what's going on here. So, guys, a non sequitur doesn't have to be applied to a deductive argument that you don't believe doesn't follow. And he doesn't even bring any citations for this. But yeah, like I said, he's going to respond to my points and bring up these stuff from the presentation. So there's no need to go through it. So let's react here.
That stream where they decimated us, I remember them going, yeah, Mike,
Yeah, where all you could talk about is poop. Yeah.
just called everything circular. And it's like, dog, just stop making circular arguments.
It's yeah. You don't want me to tell you
It's not my fault that you're making a circular argument.
Oh, man, it's so bad. Yeah, I don't. We've explained this to them 1,000 times, and their response is just to get mad about it. But yeah, let's dive back in here.
Let's get into the video.
Here's the Islamic dilemma in 90 seconds. The Quran says, let the people of the gospel judge by what Allah has revealed in it. O people of the book, you have nothing to stand on unless you
Favorite
observe
verse,
the Torah,
the Quran.
the gospel, and what has been revealed to you from your Lord. But if Christians are supposed to judge by the gospel, then we should reject Islam,
Yep.
since the gospel contradicts the Quran.
Let's respond to this part. So it's very simple. The Quran, when it says to judge by the gospel, when the Quran says that you're saying I'm nothing until you judge by it, is referring to the true parts. And the Quran can say you're meant to only judge by the true parts that the Quran believes is true, because the Quran already presupposes the fact that the Prophet ﷺ is in your scriptures. And if the Prophet ﷺ is in your scriptures, then you must only judge by what conforms to the Quran and Sunnah. So that's not circular at all. You meant to prioritize.
It's very circular because the Quran does not say, "Hey, you should believe in Muhammad," because some parts of your scriptures that are uncorrupted are good to go, and they point to Muhammad. And let me tell you.
Yes, it does. Because one, it does conscious edits like I've shown before, and you got cooked on. Two, there's verses that talk about distortion of the scriptures. And three, the Quran talks about good parts where you find the Prophet in there. So all this can be justified within just the Quran by itself.
What those parts are. It doesn't do that at all. It just says, observe the Torah, the gospel, and what has been revealed to you from your Lord. Judge by the gospel. And by the way, I'm confirming your scriptures. Like, it doesn't say.
Yep, observing the gospel and Torah is under the presupposition that the Prophet's in there. If the Prophet's not in there, then that's a wrong presupposition for the Quran to have. But if he is in there, then it's sound for the Quran to say that. Now you have to disapprove the fact that the Prophet's in there. And that's why we're trying to get a debate. And everyone's dodging a formal debate on this topic, whether Jesus prophesied Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam.
Say what he wants it to say, and then he has to come in and add context that isn't there, thereby he's admitting the Quran is not clear or fully detailed as it claims.
Mike, here's the problem. This isn't a circular argument. Okay, it's an oval.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
At least inspiring philosophy tries to engage, but then he just says stuff. As you're gonna see, even with La mubaddila li kalimatillah, these guys are, especially Than, he has no idea what he's talking about. If anything, I wouldn't say it's deception on their part, to be honest. I think it's just stupidity, because they don't know the Arabic sources and so on. As you will see, he will, both him and IP will misrepresent the Arabic sources a lot, and that might be because of Jay and Doc. I guess they're the ones that are giving them these sources.
And yeah, the Quran can claim that Muhammad is in our scriptures. Sure, it can, but because it's assuming it's in line with those scriptures over and over again. Okay, the Islamic dilemma is not built on that claim that Muhammad is in our scriptures. The Islamic dilemma is built on the claim that the Quran says it's confirming our scriptures. It tells us to use our scriptures. That's what it's built on.
Yeah. This is. I just attempted to put what he does in a syllogism here. Well, not really a syllogism. Give me one sec. Sorry. So there's just more hidden secularity here, right?
Yeah.
Accept Muhammad because he is prophesied in your scripture. Identify which parts of the scripture are true by conformity to Muhammad. Reject whatever contradicts Muhammad. You can't say 1 and then do 2 and 3. We already covered why. This is part of the meta level problem. That's why I spent a lot of time covering that meta level stuff, because with that in the background, you can start seeing past all of this messiness. So
yeah, briefly explain it for people that just tuned in.
Oh, I mean, so what I'll do then actually is I'll just go back here. So problem 1 is the speech act problem, which basically is just this. There are speech acts, and the Quran says to judge by something. A proper speech act is going to be felicitous, meaning it can actually be properly executed, and presumes proper execution when you're doing it. The word judge tells you that and presumes that you can actually make an evaluative judgment between a few different options, and that all those options are live options on a table and not just the one outcome that you want. So for example, if I say chocolate or vanilla ice cream, but you can't choose vanilla, is that a proper, like, doable speech act? No, right? And so the problem is, if the Quran is saying judge by the gospel, it's the case that you can actually make a genuine judgment of the Quran by the gospel. And if you can't, then the other problem is that then the Quran is making a non-felicitous speech act, meaning Allah doesn't know what to do with words.
Right.
No, there's two options. You can either judge by the gospel, i.e., accept the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ prophesied in there, or you cannot judge by the gospel, meaning don't accept the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ described in there. So there are two options.
God not being able to do that sounds pretty bad, right?
Yeah. And just the other thing, I mean, the Quran does not say, when it tells us Muhammad is in our scriptures, that it's only in the
Oh, we got some people in the comments, right? Yo, come up on the live and show me one source. Both you and Bought by Blood. Give me one source that says non sequiturs cannot apply to inductive arguments. Give me one source. Two Christians in the chat. Give me one academic source that says non sequiturs only apply to deductive arguments. So therefore, it's a category error, that the fact that I mentioned a non sequitur. Give me one source, one academic source. I'll bring you up right now. I'll share your screen. I got you, bro.
true parts. It just says that he's in there. And then, by the way, it's also confirming our scriptures and we should judge by them, yada, yada, yada.
Prioritize the truthfulness over the other stuff that may be false, like historical falsehoods, just false pericopes generally, false stories in the Bible, etc. The Prophet ﷺ comes with a Muhaymin, which comes one verse after verse 47. And as scholars such as Nikolai Sinai notes, non-Muslim scholars, they note that whenever the Quran confirms...
Okay, hold on. Let's just put that back up. I want to read this. This is important.
Yeah.
Similar to Muhammad, Jesus is said to have come to confirm what precedes me, him of the Torah. Okay? It's talking about the word musaddiq in the Quran. Okay? But Jesus also permitted some of the things that have been prohibited to the Israelites. This suggests that confirmation is not to be confused with a more reiteration, but may involve a degree of authoritative modification. So he's just noting this as a possibility.
Yep.
Now,
What? Yo, these guys just misrepresented Sinai. When he says may, sorry guys, I'm gonna have to just screenshot this to save time. There we go. It's gonna be a bit blurry. Look how stupid these guys are. Okay, so similar to Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. All right, dude. You know what? Let me just... Okay. Spam control plus. All right, that's much better. Then let's make this big screen. And it reset it. Okay. Okay, bro. 1 second. Here we go. Okay. So Sinai is saying here, similar to Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, Jesus too is said to have come to confirm what precedes me of the Torah, but Jesus also permitted some of the things that have been prohibited to the Israelites. Okay. This suggests that confirmation. So he's saying this suggests to that. So he's saying it's probable This suggests that confirmation is not to be confused with mere reiteration, but may involve a degree of authoritative modification and rectification. He's not saying this may be the case that it involves rectification, modification. He's saying that this suggests that this is involved. Okay? That when similar to how Jesus came, right? He confirmed and modified and rectified. The Prophet also, he confirms, but he comes with not just a mere reiteration, but he may also come with, not saying that this may be the case. He's saying the Prophet may also come with, meaning he has the ability to also do. He may do authoritative modification and rectification, meaning it's not exclusive to just mere reiteration. So they're misreading Sinai. Sinai isn't just saying this is just a possibility. No. He starts off by saying this suggests that confirmation may involve these things. If he starts by saying it suggests this is involved, then obviously it's not just a mere possibility. They're completely butchering Sinai. And I disappeared. Guys, did Than not say that? Yo, you want me to replay? You really want to embarrass your boy and yourself this bad? You that desperate? Bought by Libiano? Let's do, okay, 41 minutes. I'll go back to 41 minutes, okay? You guys remember 41 minutes. Special note here. Dean is yet again showing us he knows nothing about philosophy. Calling an inductive argument a non sequitur is a category mistake because inductive arguments aim at probabilistic support, not entailment. I am making an inductive argument here. Probabilistic arguments do not aim at entailment. You're just proving how bad, bro. You guys think you guys specialize in philosophy in that? I don't specialize in this. And I'm utterly like embarrassing you guys right now on this live. I don't even specialize in this stuff. You guys apparently specialize in this. This is like your livelihood type thing. Master's degrees, doing your bachelor's in this. I'm not doing any of that. You guys are getting embarrassed. Thanks for utterly showing your deception or your ignorance. Let's go back to 45 minutes, or was it 40? It was 40. Guys, what was the timestamp? 40:50? Yeah, it's just right there. Okay, guys, I'm going to go through the super chats very quickly, okay? I don't like to spend too much time on them. In your life, dawah stands when you have good mannerisms for it. Barakallah feek, akhi. Soon, inshallah, soon. Inshallah. I'll get the equipment for it and we can start doing it, inshallah. Please explain 541 to 48. Full Sharia wasn't revealed. How would they judge by the Quran? I don't know what you're trying to ask, akhi. You're going to have to come up at the end. I can answer that more. Because I don't believe that that's talking about judging by the Quran. It's saying to judge by the true parts that are found in the Torah and the Gospel, by the descriptions of the Prophet. What are your thoughts on majestically made melon? I don't know what that is or who that is. Any info on the upcoming book? Yeah, still about 6 to 8 months. Inshallah, I'm going to get people to look through it. I'm eating food and drinking. Sahdan. May Allah preserve / protect you in the Biano. Ameen. Barakallah feek wa iyak. Jazakallah khair wa barakallah feek wa iyak akhi. Keep going and the Biano, the apologetic nightmare. Barakallah feek. Jazakallah khair for the $5 steel man. And Nerd Voice undefeated. No comeback for yeah, bro. Gonna keep that Nerd Voice coming in. As long as they're coming with shifting of the goalposts. Okay, so let's get back to this. Is Bought by Blood mute now? Is he not? Where are you, bro? You still gonna say that he you're still gonna say that he doesn't think it only applies to deductions? Yeah, run away like a little coward, bro. Let's get back to the video. No way, bro said Sahta. Bro, I'm from Lebanon, bro. What do you expect? All right, let's continue.
To the Israelites. This suggests that confirmation is not to be confused with a more reiteration, but may involve a degree of authoritative modification. So he's just noting this as a possibility.
Yeah.
Now, what he's referring to, I believe, is in Surah 350, where Jesus says, I've come to confirm what came before me, and I've made some things permissible. Okay, guess what the Quran doesn't do? That. It does not.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Bro. No way he just said that.
Now, what he's referring to, I believe, is in Surah 350, where Jesus says, I've come to confirm what came before me, and I've made some things permissible. Okay, guess what the Quran doesn't do? That. It does not say, I'm confirming your scriptures, but also making something permissible.
Yo, chat. Should we play a bit more to see if... let's make sure we're not taking him out of context, because this is crazy. No way he said that, chat. Yo, bro, if you don't specialize in Islam IP, just don't speak, and you don't have to speak about everything. You don't have to speak about Islam if you're ignorant on it. It's okay. Just merely depending upon people like Jay and Doc and whatever. Yeah, maybe they know more Islam than you, sure. Even though I still believe they're ignorant. At least they know more than you, and you get your sources from them and whatnot. You know, let them do their thing. Let them come debate us, and at least they can know the verses. Maybe at least they've actually read the Quran, even though they read it with obviously bad intentions. I don't believe you read the Quran. Wallahi, I don't believe you read the Quran. So guys, he says the Quran doesn't say, I'm confirming what you have, and yeah, I'm making some things permissible. Okay. Can we read that? They are the ones who follow the messenger, the unlettered prophet, I would say that's Gentile. The Gentile prophet whose description they find in their Torah and the gospel. Okay, chat, is that a confirmation right there of the 7th century Torah and gospel? Can I get a yes or no? Is that a confirmation of the 7th century Torah and gospel? Is that a yes or no? Is that a level of confirmation? I want to see whether it's a yes or no. Is that a confirmation going on? Yeah, we got yes, yes. I genuinely confirmed this. Yeah. Okay. It's a confirmation of the 7th century Torah and gospel in the aspect of the prophet's description. Okay? He commands them to do good and forbids from evil. Permits for them what is lawful and forbids to them what is impure. So there's confirmation and there's a level of making stuff permissible that they used to deem forbidden. How? Let's look here. Relieves them from the burdens and shackles that bound them. Then if you look at the tafsir, they say this is making stuff halal that used to be haram for them. Okay? The same function in chapter 3, verse 50 that Nicholas Sinai brings. And I won't even argue from just one verse. We can argue from the concept. Just the concept in the Quran. Just look at chapter 6 of the Quran. For those who are Jewish, we forbade every animal with undivided hoofs. Okay, So the Quran here is saying the animals with undivided hoofs, meaning camels, for example. It's saying camels are impermissible, yes? I'm gonna look at the chat again. Is the Quran saying in the Torah before with the Jews, Allah made it forbidden for them? And by the way, this shows knowledge of the author of the Quran on the Torah, on dietary laws. So I want a yes or no chat. Is the Quran here saying that in the Torah it said that camels are impermissible to eat? You got yes, yes. Yep. Okay, beautiful. We're on the same page. In this very same section, the previous verse, say, O Prophet, I do not find in what has been revealed to me anything forbidden to eat except carrion, running blood, swine, which is impure, or a sinful offering in the name of any other than Allah. No mention of the dietary law that they have. And Allah says afterward, this is the dietary law that they had in the past. Right? Okay. Sorry, not that one. This one. This is the dietary law they had in the past. And in this way, we rewarded for them their violations. And we are certainly truthful. Meaning, back then, it was given to them because of their violations. But today, it's not for you. Eating camel meat is permissible for you. So the Prophet ﷺ does confirm, and yet he still makes permissible stuff that was haram. The same way that Jesus ﷺ does. And that's why Sinai notes that. Can't believe this level of ignorance, man.
That's the problem. And also, what does Nikolai Sinai say? I have the clip right here. What does he say about the Quran saying about the prior scriptures in this?
No, this clip.
Look at how he even misrepresents Sinai. Haram Sinai, yani. Like, this guy's a miskeen. He doesn't, Sinai doesn't know the Bible too well, from what I've seen, nor the Quran in depth too well, but I see that he's honest at least. This guy's at least honest to a level where I can notice. He's not like other academics in the field, such as Gabriel Reynolds, this pseudo.
They should move forward. Yeah. So the Quran doesn't seem to have Ibn Hazm's idea that the Torah and the Injil is subject to sort of textual falsification.
Look, right there. He doesn't even know what Sinai is saying. Sinai is not saying, he's not negating our view. Sinai is saying Ibn Hazm, who has a view different from ours, Ibn Hazm believes like it's so distorted, there's nothing left in there you can really use. That's Ibn Hazm's view. So Sinai is saying the Quran doesn't seem to have that view. Okay? That has, I don't know why you're making like gestures. That has nothing to do with our view.
In the distant past, and now God knows, and we just can't reconstitute it. I mean, the Quran seems to be fairly optimistic that what's there right now is you can actually work with. So you think that it...
Okay. Why is he facepalming? Did Sinai say that the Quran confirms everything in the scriptures that they have? Chat, did Sinai just say that? Or did Sinai say the Quran is optimistic with what you have? Okay, let me ask you guys a question. The Quran being optimistic with what you have, is that similar to our position? Yes or no? The Quran is optimistic with what the Christians and Jews have. Is that what we're saying? Yes or no? Just yes or no in the chat, guys. Yes, yep, yes, of course, yes. Yeah, this is our view. We're optimistic with what you have. You have enough to prove Islam, therefore become Muslim. There's descriptions of the Prophet in there. We're optimistic with that. You use that to become Muslim. So this idiot doesn't even know that Sinai is not confirming what he's saying. Crazy, the level of jahl, bro. Like, I don't like doing long live streams like these, right? Because it takes a lot of time. But with these guys in particular, I will forever, and I swear by Allah, as long as I can, I will respond to every single live stream where they spread lies like this, to expose how much they're misrepresenting scholarship, they're misrepresenting the Quran, they're showing their ignorance of the Quran, and the philosophy they claim to know, they're even getting that wrong. This is next level jahl, bro.
it is.
So there, he's not saying that the Quran is generally confirming or dealing with massive corruption. It's dealing with, you can work with it. You're going to be able to.
Okay, yeah, so he's not dealing with massive corruption. Okay. When did oh my god. How is that incompatible with our view? Someone can hold our view and say most of the Torah is preserved, most of the Injil is preserved. How does that contradict our view? How does that at all contradict what we're saying? Someone can hold to that view if they like. His principle was the Quran's optimistic with what you have. As long as you have that principle, you hold to our view. That what you have is enough to prove Islam, i.e., what you have, descriptions of the Prophet and so on. This is enough to confirm what Islam is saying. Then you become Muslim by the miraculous descriptions and fulfillments that the Prophet then comes with as a prophet sent from God.
These stuff apparently align with the Quran, which it doesn't. That was the problem. That's why we have the Islamic dilemma there.
Yeah, and so I mean, Dean's hermeneutical principle here is that when the Quran commands Christians to judge by the gospel, the proper interpretation of that command is judge only by the parts of the gospel that already agree with the Quran, because the Quran presupposes Muhammad is prophesied in there.
No.
I mean,
what's the point? Like, what's the point then? Like, you cannot. Like, you're not.
What do you mean? What's the point then? The prophet's in your book, bro. If your prophet's in your book, do you have to judge by the truths? I wish I could press them on that point right now. Have them on the live right now. If the prophet is described in your book, do you have to only judge by what's true, the Torah and gospel, then become Muslim? That is not circular. The fact that the prophet's in there, right? The Quran presupposes it, sure. Can you falsify that presupposition? That's your ballpark now. You need to disprove Matthew 22, Matthew 21. You need to disprove the Paraclete. You need to disprove the Son of Man prophecies. You need to disprove all these descriptions in the gospel. You need to disprove Isaiah 42, Daniel 2, Daniel 7, etc., etc., etc. Yo, Lamb Apologetics, bro. If you want, you have the opportunity to come up right now. You have the streaming on things right here. I can speak to you for about 5 minutes before I can continue. If you have time to type right now, then you have the time to come up. The link is right there.
Using Muhammad, you're not using the Bible.
you're not even interpreting the text at this point,
right?
Like you're. I mean,
yeah, we're not even interpreting the text at this point, even though the Quran continuously says, become Muslim because the Prophet's in there. Become Muslim because we're the true continuity. Become Muslim because your book confirms.
That was too strong of a claim. You are technically interpreting the text, but what you're doing is, again, circular. It's falling into the meta level problems. And good luck. Just good luck.
No circularity there. If the Quran holds to the presupposition that the Prophet's in your book, you need to disprove that presupposition, because the author of the Quran believes it's sound. You need to disprove that now. You need to now the burden's on you guys now. You guys don't understand that. The burden's now on you guys, because if the Prophet's in your book, then therefore you have to judge by the true parts and become Muslim.
Yeah.
Good luck dealing with people that actually deal with interpretation theory and all this stuff too.
My notes.
People that actually deal with interpretation theory. Okay, let's discuss interpretation theory, guys. Let's discuss interpretation theory. Okay, so Matthew 24, but about that day or hour, no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. Okay, guys, did you know that that the term "know" here, okay, actually it could possibly mean to declare? And did you guys know that the term here, it's within the verse, could be taken to also mean declare, because there's a Jewish wedding. Even though the Jewish wedding isn't in the immediate context, actually you need to go to Matthew 25 to find the Jewish wedding, and it's not in the immediate context. We're still going to apply that because we need to use proper interpretation and hermeneutics. Now, the term "know" here, oidin, can also possibly mean declare. But we're not going to look at the context, because the context here is about the people at the days of Noah not knowing when the flood was going to come. We're not gonna bear in mind that it says you don't know when your Lord will come, and we're not gonna bear in mind that Jesus gives a bunch of other examples about knowing being cognitive knowledge? Okay, but guys, we do have another position where Jesus doesn't know in his human nature. Then that's actually heresy, because if you say Jesus doesn't know in his human nature, i.e., Jesus doesn't know the hour when he's on earth as a human, then that's heresy according to Catholics and Eastern Orthodox. Well, actually, Dean, I'm gonna qualify it now and show you that I wasn't making an error there, even though many Christians said I was falling into the Agnote heresy. Okay, so finally, guys, what it leads to then is the interpretation of this then becomes, because we got rid of Jesus doesn't know in his human nature, i.e., he's ignorant in his human nature. We got rid of that. We got rid of Jesus doesn't declare the hour. Okay, what's left now? Okay, there's this really ad hoc interpretation that Catholics and Eastern Orthodox have. Jesus doesn't know the hour from his human nature. Jesus knows it in his human nature, but not from it. He knows it from his divinity, because his divinity is a source of divinity, a source of divine knowledge, I should say, that transmits the knowledge to the human nature, so that the human nature is excelled in knowledge, or even has knowledge of the hour. So when Jesus says, no one knows the hour, neither the Son, he's merely saying he doesn't know it from his human nature. He only knows it in his human nature, but from his divinity. That's what he's saying. Oh, okay, bro. Okay, and you're telling me we need to have proper interpretation, hermeneutics. Okay, bro. Okay.
Non-Muslim scholars, they note that whenever the Quran confirms, it would be somewhat analogous to Jesus when he confirms, and yet he
No, he says it's a possibility. He doesn't say it is. He uses the word may.
still makes adjustments to the Torah within the Quran. So this shows that even non-Muslim scholars agree that the confirmation includes modification and even a sort of rectification.
He notes it's a possibility. Yeah.
Another point to justify the general confirmation is the fact that we have conscious edits being made by the Quranic author. This proves that the Quranic author doesn't look to confirm everything within the Torah and the Gospel in your possession. For example, the Quran knows in the Gospel it contains a seed parable. It contains other contents that the Quran goes through, chapter 9, verse 111, trading your life and wealth for paradise.
Yeah, this is the problem here. All of this can just be explained by an illiterate guy who thinks he's a prophet. He's hearing stories and he's just repeating things. Like, notice what you see in Surah 9:11 that's on the screen. Allah has indeed purchased from them, the believers, their lives and wealth in exchange for paradise. They fight in the cause of Allah and kill and are killed. This is a true promise, binding on him in the Torah, the Gospel, and the Quran. Okay, no, it isn't. There is nowhere in the Gospel or the Torah where we are commanded to fight and to kill or be killed. Even those verses he puts on the screen are not in Surah 9:11. You can just look at them and see that. What?
Yeah, so he's taking an interpretation that I don't believe is from the Quran there. I don't believe that's what the Quran is saying. The Quran is saying the promise is inheriting paradise for exchanging your wealth and your life. Okay, and if you look here, sorry guys, I didn't get this one prepared, but I do have the tafsir here already. Should be somewhere on my Discord. Just give me a sec. Here we go. So even Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, he doesn't believe that Isa alayhi salam ever had jihad in his Sharia. Okay. So it's from Majmu' al-Fatawa. Okay, here's what he says. And among them are philosophers who deny the resurrection of bodies. Most of them are heretics and harbor doubts, especially the monks and priests among them, to the weakness of their intellects in such a state. The Messenger of Allah ﷺ was commanded to strive against them into the original blood, page Jizya. And this is the religion of the Prophet ﷺ. That's the section from Majmu' al-Fatawa. Here we go. Here's another section. I don't know if this is Majmu' al-Fatawa or not. Yeah, it should be. Or Jawab al-Sahih. Yeah, no, sorry, this is from Jawab al-Sahih, my bad. So, and if the Christians acknowledge that the doctrine they follow, so he's saying to them, like, you have doctrines that you guys aren't following that Jesus came with by a group among them, while others disagreed with him in it, and that is not transmitted from the Messiah, and likewise that they practice of permitting what God and his messenger has forbade, and likewise their fighting of those who oppose their religion, and killing of those who forbid pork, even though the law of the gospel contradicts this, and likewise their abandonment of circumcision, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so likewise they're fighting those who oppose their religion. So he's saying they weren't allowed. Jesus didn't allow them to fight them. So he doesn't believe jihad in that sense was allowed, sort of like offensive warfare.
Then if you look here, yeah, this is from Qatada on his interpretation of Quran chapter 9, verse 111. Oh, here we go. Yes. So I read the yellow highlight here, the blue highlight is here. Then the Messiah, peace be upon him, did not command striving against them, especially not striving with weapons, nor fighting them thereafter. So Ibn Taymiyyah believes that jihad wasn't allowed. So obviously he doesn't believe in Quran chapter 9, verse 111. Jesus in the Injil came with jihad al-talab. So I don't take that view. I take Ibn Taymiyyah's view. It's similar. He didn't come with jihad in that sense, which is also found in the Salaf, because you find from Qatada, where he says, and he promised them in the verse of Quran chapter 9, verse 111, i.e. truly the Torah, the Gospel, and the Quran said, they found in the Torah and the Gospel that whoever is killed in the path of Allah, Allah will admit them into paradise. This is the promise. Death in the path of Allah. Not specifically, it has to be you're killing in God's path. That could be it. Okay. So, here we go. Guys, let me just get these guys up because I invited them before. I didn't see them up before, so I'm gonna get them up. Yeah, Ball by Blood, bro. You definitely weren't up for a long time, because I just looked now. I see the other guy up. I didn't see you up because I was on the Discord the whole time sharing the sources. So come back up. Don't run. You definitely weren't up here for long. Okay. So guys, I want you guys to get those sources in mind. Keep them with you. Qatada from the Salaf interprets it the same way that I am, as well as Ibn Taymiyyah, obviously. We can infer that he doesn't believe jihad was ordained in the Injil. So let me get this guy up and let me ask him if he has a source to support Than. Hello?
Yeah, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. So do you agree with Than that you can't say a non sequitur is applied
Wait, is
to
that what
a
we're
inductive argument?
is that what we're talking about? I thought we were talking
Yeah,
about
that's exactly the topic I told you guys to come up about. So do you have
well, when
that
you were talking
reference
about a
ready
link,
from
you were
an
talking
academic
about
source?
the presupposition of the Quran when it comes to the criterion of the Prophet of
No, I
Muhammad.
didn't.
That's what I was
No,
coming up
I
here to
didn't tell
question.
you to come up for that. No, I said everyone can rewind the live. I said come up when you're ready with an
so you're
academic
avoiding the
academic
argument
source
for the criterion and epistemic
No,
justification.
you're avoiding the first thing I told you to come up for. Chat, did I not say for him to come up specifically on give me an academic source to support Than that a non sequitur can't be applied to an inductive argument? I thought you specialized in philosophy, bro. Why do you want to engage? So
I mean, yeah, sure, I can engage with
okay,
this. Are you
okay,
willing to
give me an
engage with the
academic source. Do
criterion?
you have the academic source? Like I said, do you have the academic source?
Yeah, sure, I can give that, and then we can
Okay,
talk about
where
the
is it?
criterion.
Where's
and
the source?
Justification.
Where's the
yeah,
source?
sure. So let me.
Where's the
grab it
source?
real quick.
So is not a source. You don't have the source ready?
Yeah,
Why'd you come
clearly it's not a source. I'm glad you're very
Okay, why
perceptive,
did you come up if you don't have the source, dude?
No, I
did not hear me say that.
Holy moly! Yeah, give me a second, buddy. Okay, so this one.
Yeah.
Hold
What's
on.
the source?
Try to find his name. Hold on.
Oh my god, these guys.
Okay, so this is Bradley H. Dodwin. He is a
I don't care. What does he
political
say?
professor.
What does he say?
Yeah, sure. So what he's proposing here is when he's talking. I mean, let me see. I can share my screen if you want.
Oh my days, bro! Read the source. I want to
Yeah,
see
sure.
what he says.
Suppose you've
non
sure, if you want me to read
sequiturs
here,
are
hold on.
applied. Non sequiturs, I claimed, are applied even to inductive arguments. You can say that's a non sequitur.
Inductive arguments.
You're
in
gonna
what
you're
manner?
gonna bring
as related
bring
to
a
Than?
source now. You're gonna bring a source now that says non sequiturs can't
Can
be
you-
applied to
can you
inductive
still- can you
arguments.
still man
Only
Than's
inductive
argument?
arguments.
Can you
I
still
just
man
said it
Than's
right
argument?
now. I just said it right now.
That's not Than's argument.
I just said it right now. We
I
can
said,
pull
can
up
you
his
still,
slide,
can
bro.
you still man Than's inductive reasoning that he was giving in which you
That's
which you
neither
then used
here
as
or
non
there.
sequitur?
He said non
That's
sequiturs
the
can't be
entire-
applied to
that's the
inductive
entire
arguments.
context.
Do you have the source?
That's the entire context.
Do you have the source?
Do you?
Oh my god, why are you stuttering for, bro? Just bring up the source.
No, it's not stuttering. I'm absolutely dumbfounded
Where's
by
the
the fact
source?
that this is absolutely irrelevant to what I'm
Where's the
talking about
source?
right now. I'm talking
Do you have
about
the source?
can you steal man Than's argument
Yes,
as
I just did right now. Specifically
Than's
why I
argument.
got you up. Specifically why I got you up. Everyone can replay it. I said when you're ready with an academic source that says non sequiturs can be applied to inductive arguments, I will rise you guys up. Do you have your
Yeah.
source ready?
Yeah, I have my source ready.
Share
want
your
me to- I
screen.
can-
Go
you
ahead.
want me to
Share
read
your
the
screen.
entire-
I'm ready.
Oh, you want me to share the screen? Okay.
Yeah, share your screen. Let's read it. Remember, guys, the source has to say, not verbatim, it could be the concept, non sequiturs
you can't say something's non sequitur unless it's in the context of a deductive argument you're disagreeing with its validity on. Okay, show us that source. Go ahead.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Show us that source.
Hold on.
Where's the source?
Whoa. Hold
Bring
on.
it
Let's
up.
stop right there, buddy. Do you not understand what you just said?
Oh my God. Do you have the source ready or not?
Hold on. I just want to address what you said. Do you not
No,
understand what you
there's
just
no
said,
addressing
your
what I said.
implication
I
was?
said I got you on to bring a source and show that I'm wrong against Than. If you're gonna try to deviate one more time, I'm gonna drop you down, bro. Are you gonna share the screen or not?
You want me to share screen?
Yes, I've said it like 3 times
You're
for you to
adding
share your
specific
screen.
criterion, bro.
No, I'm not, bro. Let's go back to the video. You're gonna stay in the backstage for a sec. I don't want you to interrupt me. All we're gonna do is we're gonna bring up the first slide. That's all we're gonna do. Don't waste any more time, bro. If you don't bring me the source that defends Stan, I'm gonna drop you. Calling an inductive argument a non sequitur is a category mistake because inductive arguments aim at probabilistic support, not entailment. Okay, yes or no? Do you agree with that from Than? Yes or no? Yes or no?
What do I agree with?
Yes
his
or no? Do
position
you
that
agree with
calling
what
it
I just read? What I just read?
an inductive and Bayesian argument is a non sequitur is a category mistake?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, you agree? Okay, give me the source right now that says that.
Yeah, sure. Let me grab this.
By the way, you were meant to have it ready before you came up, dude. I said it on the live. Get it ready, and I'll get you on for 5
Well,
minutes.
no,
You can show the
obviously,
source.
I mean, if you were tracking the conversation, clearly that
yeah, I
wasn't
was
what
tracking. You're not.
assuming we were talking about.
You're not tracking what came before. Because if you were tracking, you would have heard me say, "Get the source ready, and then I'll bring you up." Were you tracking?
Okay, again, I'm going to
Were you
call back to
tracking?
the fact that you weren't
Were you
tracking,
tracking or not? Did you hear me, or do you need,
that
do you
wasn't
need
what
to
I come into the
unplug?
conversation
do you
actually
need to
wanting
like
to debate. I was debating
unplug
about
your
the
ears?
actual
You need to
criterion
unplug
of
your ears.
epistemic
If you want to go
justification
rhetoric
for
one for one, bro, we
the
can go
Quran
rhetoric
when it
one
comes
for
to
one. I
prophethood,
can
bro.
speak a lot faster than you. So, bro, are you gonna bring up the source or not?
Bro,
Are
come
you gonna
on,
bring up the
buddy.
source or not? Are you gonna bring up the source or not? Where's the source? Why is it not ready? I told you to get it ready before you came up. Where's the source, dog? Waste of time.
Probabilistic argument that I make. So calling an inductive or Bayesian argument a non sequitur is kind of a category mistake because non sequiturs are about things that logically follow, and probabilistic arguments are about probabilistic support, not about.
Sorry, guys, I was playing playing the stupid section. All right, let's go back here. All right, before I continue, guys, that guy just wasted a good 10 minutes of the live. Regardless, I want to make sure you guys are clear on the point I brought from Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn Qutayba. So, was that clear for everyone? That Ibn Taymiyyah doesn't believe Jesus came with jihad, therefore he doesn't believe in the Injil there was jihad. Can you go over it again, please? Yeah, I got you. Okay. I got you, okay. I'm going to explain one more time because that guy did interrupt what we're doing. Okay, first let's go through what the interpretation actually is that we're positing, okay? So, what I'm saying is that in this verse, there's a promise, there's an example of how this promise is fulfilled, and then there is the mentioning of it being in the Torah, Gospel, and Quran, okay? So Allah has indeed purchased from the believers their lives and wealth in exchange for paradise, okay? They fight in the cause of Allah, or are killed. This is a true promise binding on him in the Torah, the Gospel, and the Quran. Okay, that's all that's relevant here. So we're going to screenshot this. I'm going to highlight very clearly for you guys what we're saying this means. And this is the interpretation I'm going to be bringing in my book, inshallah, okay? Here we go. So what we're saying here is there's a promise. Allah has indeed purchased from the believers their lives and wealth in exchange for paradise. Okay? So that's the promise. The promise is that he purchased from the believers their lives and wealth in exchange for paradise. This is an example of that. How do you fulfill this? This promise can be fulfilled by fighting the cause of Allah, by being killed, or by killing. Okay? So by fighting in jihad, either offensively or defensively. Okay? This is a true promise binding on him in the Torah, the Gospel, and the Quran. So the promise isn't the exact format of the green. That's not the promise that they fight. They have to fight or be killed. That's not the promise. The promise is Allah purchased from the believers their lives and wealth in exchange for paradise, which is by dying for the sake of Allah. How can you die for the sake of Allah? In these two ways. Does that mean the promise is these exact two ways? No. So in the Torah, it could be just, dying for God's sake with martyrdom, or it could be offensive, but you can make a case for both. In the Injil, you can't make a case for offensive, but you can make a case for dying for the sake of God, like I showed. Okay? So that's the point. And this hopefully that's like clear for you guys. Is that clear? Is that clear, chat, or not? I want to make sure everyone's understanding with these lives, specifically these sort of lives. I want to make sure that you guys are understanding what's going on, okay? For you guys' benefit, yani. Like, I don't do this because I have an ego and, oh, you said you refute me? Oh, okay, I'm gonna refute you. No, that's not me, bro. I do it for you guys' education, inshallah. So again, you guys can replay for the sources that says similar to what I was saying, okay?
Are not in Surah 9:11. You can just look at them and see that. What's a better explanation? Okay, some guy heard Christians talking, took parts he liked, added in some other parts about fighting and killing, and then just assumed that's what it was talking about.
Yep.
All of Dean's conscious editing, the Quran conscious editing the Bible, can be explained away by just an illiterate guy hearing stories and just basically.
No, it can't be. And I'm going to show that soon, inshallah, guys. I'm going to show a sophisticated video where I'll be showing that the author of the Quran knows the Bible like extremely in depth. Okay. Inshallah ta'ala, we will get through that. Let me just quickly go through this. I trusted you, IP. Yeah, barakallah feek for all the donations, okay. Omigo Dawan. I don't think I'll ever do that. No linky, winky, and chatty. What? I don't know what that means, bro. Are you gonna react to Jake's upcoming debates? Don't really react to debates usually. Not anymore. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve you and bless you with good and wellness, brother. Ameen. Ameen. Barakallah feek wa yak.
Taking what he wants, including it. I would even say he's consciously editing what he's hearing, the stories, but that doesn't mean he's actually consciously editing the text. He thinks those texts are in agreement with whatever he's preaching, and he thinks.
Yo, he got baked on this so hard. If he's consciously editing what he's hearing, then he knows it's possible he's editing the text, and he doesn't mind that possibility, which proves he doesn't care if the text is there fully preserved or not. And even more so, he's not even just editing what he hears. He also adds innovative material as well.
We're twisting it with their tongues. Our tongues,
Yep.
as Surah 3 says.
Yep. I tried to just do a little thing here for him too again. So think Dean's argument is probably something like the Quranic author is aware of the contents of the gospel. It is implausible that the author was ignorant of the things the gospel contained that contradict the Quran. So the best explanation is not ignorance, but conscious edits or something like that.
Something like that.
Here's his real argument.
No, that's not my argument. Well, in that video, specifically, I made that argument, but my argument for conscious edits before involved even granting you the author of the Quran was ignorant on the second point. But you can run with this one, sure. But even if I grant you that point that he doesn't know and he's just taking everything orally, even if I grant you that, I still cooked IP on that very point, right? But regardless, we can still defend this position because they don't even know how much the author of the Quran knows about the gospel, and I'm going to show that.
Contradict the Quran. So the best explanation is not ignorance, but conscious edits or something like that.
Something like that.
Here's his real argument.
Yeah, that's
Same thing,
that's
but
the argument. Yeah, that
premise
is
two
great.
prime. The Quran is true.
That's really his argument. He cannot. He always does this, and I hope he watches it.
Are they going to respond to this argument or not? Dude, are they going to respond to that argument or not? Or are they just going to straw man and say that's my actual argument?
Because he needs to do this. He just assumes the Quran is true. Therefore, whatever the Quran is
No,
doing,
I don't, dude. The author of the Quran knows the context of the passages it's quoting from. It knows particular detail. I'm not going to go too much in detail because in future I will make videos on this showing that even Quran chapter 61 verse 6 is intricate in its details. Okay? But regardless, this theory that the author of the Quran doesn't know the Gospels well is outdated. The stuff I'm going to be publishing, inshallah, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows me, it will be exposing that fact that he knows the gospel so well, you will think he's like taking it from a monk or something, which is highly implausible. But even a monk still wouldn't be able to filter out true historical details about Jesus. So that's another question that needs to be answered. But regardless, yeah, we're not going to do too much of this in this video. Just know that he didn't really respond. He doesn't know the contents of the gospel that is mentioned in the Quran. I know them from the top of my head. I can bring them up. But he doesn't know them. And he thought Quran chapter 9 verse 111, there's no interpretation that's actually compatible with the gospel, and that shows he's not just taking from oral traditions and making up stuff. I gave one from the Salaf and I gave one from Ibn Taymiyyah. That interpretation is harmonized with what Jesus says in the Gospels.
has to be real, true, not making mistakes. You get the idea. Therefore, it has to be consciously editing.
Right.
And when it says it's confirming, it can't mean it's actually confirming. It has to mean generally confirming. Just like when the Quran says that it's clear, it just means it's generally clear. And when the Quran says it's fully detailed, it's just generally fully detailed. And when it says believe in the prior scriptures and the Quran, it means to believe in the Quran in Surah 2:4, but it means to just generally believe in them. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Dude, guys, what sounds more ad hoc? Saying when the Quran says it's clear, it's general, or when it's confirming, it's general, or saying that when Jesus says he doesn't know, it doesn't mean that he actually doesn't know. It means that he doesn't declare. Like, these guys are just projecting.
Here's a steel man of the argument, right? Instead of the Quran is true, you might say something like, given this, it's implausible that the author doesn't know about the parts that contradict the Quran or something like that. He never really actually justifies this. Nonetheless,
I does. What? I does. I do, right? And it does contain that content because it says parables, ethical teachings, future figure. How the hell did you know that? You knew that from my video, you idiot. I know you didn't know all those verses in the Quran. I know that for certain.
about the parts that contradict the Quran or something like that. He never really actually justifies this. Nonetheless, here's a few problems. One is if you just are consistent with the methodology Dean is employing to defend the Quran here, well, let's apply this to the Bible and let's apply this to Paul and all the arguments that you want to use against the Bible in New Testament reliability. I just want you to be consistent, and we'll see what happens. Next is the Quranic author knowing parables. Mike, you kind of alluded to this, right? Ethical teachings, all this other stuff. It's very easily explained by the Quranic author actually hearing the stories and then idiosyncratically applying them to Islam as well. By the way, like Muslims will say that Christians do the same thing because they'll say like, okay, well, these Old Testament prophecies are not actually about Jesus and all this other stuff. So rules for thee and not for me kind of a thing. The meta level issues we talked about at the beginning are not resolved. And early tafsir and all this other stuff.
So your response to what I said is tu kokwe? So his response is tu kokwe. He doesn't even show that the Quran doesn't know the gospel well. He just says tu kokwe. If you believe about this, then you got to believe that the New Testament prophesies Jesus. Like, what? I'm literally asking you guys to debate whether Jesus prophesied Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam.
And by the way, every single prophecy from the Old Testament they bring is rubbish. They're all typology and stuff. The Quran doesn't quote typological prophecies, or it doesn't apply typological prophecies to the Prophet ﷺ and the companions.
It points to the idea that the most likely thing happening if there's conscious edits is that there's oral traditions that they're editing. I don't know if you guys can see
Well,
this.
that would
but-
explain why he's bringing in parts of like the Infancy Gospel of Thomas, Second Targum of Esther, these kinds of things. He's just editing oral traditions he's hearing, and he's just assuming that whatever's in the book is in agreement with him, and that we somehow twisted it with our tongue. That we hiding
Right.
what's really in there. I mean, that's what Surah
Right.
5 and 3 say. Like, we're the
I
ones who
know.
are on team. Like, it's David Wood says, we're the ones on Team Allah, and the Muslims are on Team Allah. Like, we keep going on what Allah says.
Right. And so you can take Sunan Abi Dawud 4449 here. Basic idea though is Muhammad puts the Torah on the judgment seat and is speaking and says he believes in the Torah, but he's illiterate. And this explains why he's comfortable editing it. In his mind, he doesn't think he's actually correcting the Bible per se. He's just correcting some sort of oral tradition
Yeah.
and giving relevant data of the Quran. Say what?
No, there's a good hadith to show that. Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with that. I disagree with how you understand it.
Exactly. So that's that. I mean, and there's a lot we can point to. And
Guys, I already explained this hadith a lot of times. Either you're going to accept it, and you could just say this is a general confirmation, saying I believe in thee and the one that revealed thee, the same way that the Quran says it's confirming it. This is general. The same way Jesus says in Matthew 23 that to believe everything the Pharisees teach, it doesn't mean actually absolutely everything. And the Prophet's not even saying, I believe in everything you have. He doesn't say the word everything there, right? Okay. So that's the first thing. They're going to have to be uncharitable here. Also, even the Gospels, or not the Gospel, sorry, the first epistle of John, he says that the believers know all things. This is 1 John 2:20. If you look at the KJV, the believers know all things. Okay. Does that mean that the believers actually know everything? Of course not. So when you take things out of context, even when it says everything, it doesn't actually have to mean everything. They have to hold to that. And they're not actually addressing the conscious edits argument. The conscious edits argument, if I just show here, was used against IP. And he had no good response to it. That's why Sam Shamoun, why do you think he made like 6 lives? He made 6 lives about the debate because he was coping. Oh yeah, he was trying to do some damage control basically, right? So let's bring it up. All right, can you guys see it? Yeah. Okay.
Wait, look, Dean, the point we're trying to make here is that
Yeah.
what you're assuming is you're assuming the author of the Quran is looking at the Bible and then making conscious edits. What we are trying to say, and I think this is where the disconnect is happening, is we are saying he is hearing stories from the Jews and Christians, some heretical, some not. And then he is taking what he likes from them because he's assuming certain parts of what they're saying could have been twisted with their tongues, and he's only going what he feels to be the true revelations.
I
That
get
is
that.
a perfectly logical, less ad hoc explanation
No,
than
I get
anything
you on
else
that.
that what we do with conscious
by
edits.
Pete, do we not agree that there are instances where the author says details that we don't have any traditions for, such as this Samari making the golden
Yes.
calf? You agree with that, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, now let me engage with IP. Chris, you're not engaging with me. Let me engage with IP. Yeah, Chris was trying to interrupt and deviate, right? He was trying to interrupt and deviate. But yeah, IP, I made sure IP engages. Hey, listen, at that point, he is doing a conscious edit then, because he's not taking from someone. He's actually adding his own material, correct?
He is consciously editing the stories he hears then. Fine.
Beautiful. So, okay, so he does believe in conscious edits. Okay, so there's conscious edits to what he's hearing. Beautiful. Okay. Now, guys, let me ask you something. He believes the Quran is bringing innovative material, like such as Samari making the golden calf, right? Okay. Do you think the author of the Quran, from their perspective, right? Their perspective, the author of the Quran, when he adds a Samari, do you think it's charitable to say that the author of the Quran would expect the Torah to say Samari? Just a yes or no. So I'm going to repeat that one more time. Do you think the author of the Quran, when he does these conscious edits and he adds a Samari instead of Aaron, he adds a Samari, his own innovative material? No, there's no tradition ever that says Samari made the golden calf. When the Quran adds that, do you think the author of the Quran expects people to find in the Torah? We got no. We got exactly the author's adding new unique material. That literally means the author knows some of his material won't be found. Yes, exactly. Yep. No, it's conspiracy. Of course not. Yep. Now, guys, I'll prepare you for the rebuttal, right? If the rebuttal is that there was a tradition that says a Samari, then get ready to just laugh in their face. Just literally laugh in their face. Say, ha 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 ha. So you're saying the John Fontaine position, the same position you guys laugh at, the John Fontaine position, you are positing that now. Unique traditions that are found in Medina, that they're transmitting, written with them in Medina. You guys are positing the John Fontaine position now. Point the finger and laugh at them. That's literally a concession. If they're going to say that it's valid and it's okay to say this, that all of these innovative material that's found in the Quran is just hearing innovative traditions in his vicinity, then you got to say that the John Fontaine position is valid, right? Then you could just say that. But of course, they're never going to say John Fontaine's position is valid. So now we've pushed them into a corner where they have to take the John Fontaine position, the same position that they've been laughing at for all these years, and saying it's implausible. I still believe it's implausible as well, by the way. They're in that position, we're not. So we put them in the same camp as John Fontaine, and we're still in our own camp. Okay. Is that clear for everyone? I'm going to play the rest of it though, because there's still some left. So does that mean that he's okay with the possibility that he's consciously editing the Torah and the Gospel that the Christians and Jews have?
He would not be okay with that. No.
Okay, so again, we're going back to the point I made about 482. Okay, so the author of the Quran, so we got this. Dean, I think there's midrash that say Aaron didn't build the golden calf. Yeah, that's not Samari, bro. That's not Samari. Even if that does exist, I'm granting it. It doesn't say Samari. That doesn't matter. And by the way, whenever there's like little similarities between the midrash and the Quran or church commentaries, that doesn't matter. What matters is what is identical. Like, is the Quran taking from it or not? It's not clear the Quran's taking from this. Why? It's intuitive to believe, why the hell would Aaron make a golden calf if he's a prophet of God? So of course the midrash are going to try to sugarcoat it. Do you understand? So that's the point there. That's not the same. To say Aaron didn't make the golden calf isn't the same as saying somebody made the golden calf. It's not the same. He doesn't want any contradictions in his book. If he doesn't want any contradictions in his book, then he wouldn't be entertaining the possibility of contradicting or adding details that aren't from their traditions. If it is the fact that, like you just said, that As-Samiri is a tradition that he is making, is from his own traditions, he is purposely contradicting, he is doing a purpose conscious edit, then the more likely conclusion is he believes he has the authority to do this.
Anyway, look, Dean,
Okay. So that's the point where they conceded the Islamic dilemma. Let's see.
I agree with that. I disagree with how you understand it.
Exactly. So that's that. I mean, and there's a lot we can point to for this, but nonetheless.
So biblical armor says, isn't Dean the guy that ran from the Lamb Apologetics? I don't know what happened.
Yeah, on Twitter, the Lamb Apologetics tried to challenge him with your tweet or something like that, and Dean's like, "Well, just book me for a private call. We'll have a debate." And then apparently they were supposed to debate today.
Isn't Dean the guy that ran from Lamb Apologetic? Bro, I did not run from that guy. We organized to call at 3 a.m. or something, 4 a.m. And I didn't end up waking up at that time to speak with him. I completely forgot. And I woke up at like, I think 7 a.m. instead. And then I told him, okay, hit me up, bro. Let's get in the call. By the way, guys, this is the same guy that just got absolutely destroyed right now on the live. This is the same guy. He was going around saying he was going around saying I ran. What a dweeb, bro. What a dweeb. He tried so hard to rhetoric and he still failed. Let's bring up the DMs. Yo, why the hell does Twitter have to go to DMs? You need a passcode, bro. I don't remember ever putting a passcode. Stupid Twitter, bro. All right, bro. Let me just get the screenshots. Let's see. Let's see. So this guy's lying, saying that I'm running from him. Good stuff, bro. Making Christian apologetics look even worse now. You guys are doing the job for us. So bear in mind, guys, this is the same guy that just got rhetoric max before. Here we go. I'm the one who hit him up, by the way. The guy's saying I'm running, but I'm the one that hit him up, told him, let's get into 1-1 call. Then he said, then I said, because he said he's up for it. I said, all right, bro, when are you ready for a call? I'm ready when you are, so let's discuss the Islamic dilemma. We can set up a date. It's late for me right now. So, oh, it's late for me. We can set up a date. It's late. I can't speak right now. It's late. Okay, no problem. Tell me a time and date we can discuss on call. Does Wednesday 2 p.m. EST work for you? And I told him, even though that's like 6 a.m. for me, I just checked now. I said, yeah, let's do it. I'll call you then. And then when it was 6 a.m. for him, he sent that. And then he sent another question mark. And that's when I had woken up. Then I said, yo, you free now? That was 6 a.m. for me. I slept in. I'm ready now. This was only about 2 hours later, 2 hours and a half. I'm busy at the moment and I work nights, so I can't do today. I'm also in the process of moving, so we can try to figure out a different day if interested. Okay, let's do next week at this time. Let's see. Where's the last one? Yeah, let's do next week at this time. It's 9 a.m. Sydney time for me. I'll be moving, but I'll let you know if I have time available between the move and we can set up. So he didn't give me a time or a day. And he's telling me I'm running. Okay. Okay, bro. Okay. Anyways, we already had a discussion now. You've shown your incompetency. So I appreciate you stopping me from having to wake up at 7 a.m. for you to actually debate. And guess what, guys? He's moving and he's busy and stuff, but he was ready to come on the StreamYard now and discuss. Does that sound like I'm running or him? And when he came up for about 5 to 10 minutes, I told him, for you to come on, you got to bring your source. Did he bring his source? Nope. So anyways, let's skip these super chats. I'm glad we didn't skip that one. I never even saw that. I didn't even know that this guy was lying. So let's see what Than says about this.
Today, but then Dean slept in and it didn't happen.
Okay, so me sleeping in is the same as me running?
What a shame. Scale of 1 to 10, Mike. How fried was your brain initially watching Dean's video?
This guy's their little dog, bro, sending them super chats. And he just he just gave us a crap show on my live. That's hilarious. That's worth a rewatch for everyone if you didn't watch it yet.
Feel so bad for you guys.
Derived from the gospel within the Quran, even the Surah Al-Hadid intertext that I've went through multiple times. And the Quran is always aware of the fact that these contents are found within your gospel. So you're telling me the author of the Quran knows all this content is from the gospel, but doesn't know that the gospel talks about Jesus' crucifixion or the fact that he's prophesying his crucifixion and resurrection. That's completely implausible. What's more plausible is that
No,
Why?
because again, you need to show why that's implausible. Again, if Muhammad was an illiterate prophet, he's just getting all his information from stories he's hearing. All that data you bring up to support your conscious editing hypothesis can be explained that way.
Nope. I granted you he's illiterate and you still fell into the conscious edits argument. You conceded. So guys, just to simplify it. Just one second, ikhwa. Give me 1 second. Let me just do something real quick. Okay. So there's two options here, guys. Either one option is you're going to show them that the author of the Quran knows Allah, therefore it's unlikely that he's accidentally contradicting crucifixion. So that's one path. He knows a lot about the Injil, therefore it's unlikely he doesn't know that Injil says or the Gospel says that Jesus was crucified or that he's prophesying his crucifixion. So that's one. Or two, that the first one takes longer. That's why I didn't use it against IP in the live. Or two, you say, look, I even grant you the author of the Quran is taking things orally, he doesn't know the text, etc. He's still comfortable editing the text, and he conceded that. So those are the two options. So both ways you can refute them on this. They haven't shown sufficient evidence that the author of the Quran is ignorant on the contents of the gospel.
Specifically, justify its implausibility without indexing criteria to the Quran or Islam being true.
We've already done that. He knows the seed parable, applies the seed parable well to the companions and the Prophet. And I'm going to show later how that even applies even in the future. I'm going to show in more detail how much the author of the Quran knows these things. So you just got to wait for those videos, inshallah, because these guys just do wasteful apologetics. We're trying to get, up the quality, So inshallah in the future, you guys are going to see how much the author of the Quran actually does know. They can prove to a Christian without having to appeal to like circularity. They wish I'm appealing to circularity. I'm not. I just keep showing how much details the Quran knows. So let's keep going. Was that the author of the Quran is doing conscious edits and is putting himself as the supreme authority over the previous scriptures, while knowing that the Prophet is prophesied within your books. You should then judge by the truthfulness and convert to Islam.
So first off, the Quran does not set itself up as a supreme authority over the prior scriptures. If it did, it would say it's a Furqan over the prior scriptures. It never says that. It says it's a guardian. So
yo, it literally says it's a Furqan. Is this guy an idiot? Let's just let him finish. Then I'll bring up the verse.
guarding them from misinterpreting in its own view. That's what it means. And again, Surah 548 says it's a musaddiq and a muhaymin. So it's confirming them and guarding them. A guardian does not set itself up as the supreme authority. It sets itself up to prevent it from being corrupted, misinterpreted, that kind of stuff. That's what the Quran is claiming to do. The problem is when anyone actually reads the scriptures, you see that they are not in agreement and just things have been misinterpreted. There are clear contradictions. That's the problem. Let me back up here. I want to hear this again.
While knowing that a prophet is prophesied within your books, you should then judge by the truthfulness and convert to Islam.
Again, that is the circular argument. That is Dean. I don't know how many times I explained this to you. That is the circular argument. Use the Quran to find the true parts of the Bible, and then use those true parts to believe in the Quran, and then use the Quran to find the true parts of the Bible, and then believe in the Quran. If there's enough in the Bible to point you to Islam, there's also enough to point you away.
No, there
Use
isn't.
the Bible as what you're going to use to argue for the truth of Islam.
Okay, he's kind of going to another argument now. So let's respond to the previous one, then we'll respond to what he's saying here. Let's bring this up. So أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم نزل عليك الكتاب بالحق مصدقا لما بين يديه وأنزل التوراة والإنجيل. Okay, let's look at this last one. من قبل هدى للناس وأنزل الفرقان. So that's saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if I'm going to go back up here, Alif Lam Mim, Allah, there is no God worthy of worship except Him, the ever-living, all-sustaining. He has revealed to you, O Prophet, the book in truth, confirming what came before it, as He revealed the Torah and the Gospel, previously as a guide for people, and also revealed the Furqan. He also revealed the decisive authority. Sorry guys, I'm not even sharing it. Or whatever. So, here we go. So, all the verses I just read, it mentions the Torah and the Gospel, then it mentions the Furqan. And as you see with a lot of early exegetes, they say the Furqan here is what? It's the Quran. Okay? So that is obviously talking about the Quran, most likely. There's a lot of early exegetes that say this. So if all you need to do is take that interpretation that it's about the Quran, and apparently now you've refuted the Islamic dilemma according to IP. Because didn't he say, oh, the Quran's never called the Furqan? Okay. The Quran's called the Furqan. Okay, so your guys' argument doesn't work anymore. According to your own standard.
You don't get to you don't get to use the Quran to pick out the true parts. Because that's arguing in a circle.
Yeah, we're not saying for you to use the Quran to figure out what are the true parts when you're expected to judge by the Torah and Gospel. We're saying the Quran says the Prophet's described in there. You see him described in there, and then you judge by the true parts. So the Quran assumes already, if you're going to judge by the Gospel, you're going to also judge by the Prophet's description. Now, why do we take the true parts over the false parts? Why would a Christian be justified in that? Because the true parts, which involve the Prophet's description. Let me ask a question, guys. Is the Prophet's description in the Torah and the Gospel a mu'jiza? Is it a miraculous thing? Yes or no? Just a yes or no in chat. I want you guys to really understand this point. Is this a miracle? If a Christian or a Jew see the Prophet's description in the Torah and Gospel, is that a miracle? Yes or no? You got yes. We got yep. You got yeah. It's a literal miracle. Yep. Okay. So let me ask you guys. If you have a manuscript of a text, okay, would you take a manuscript of a text, a historical document, over something that's miraculous, which would give you a higher level of source of knowledge? Would it be the miraculous thing you just saw? Or would it be a manuscript that dates somewhere around the century of the person just talking about some detail about what he did and said? Which would have higher authority for you as a Christian? Something you see in your book that is miraculous, or something you see in your book that's just a detail about what someone said and did? The miracle, yep. Keep going. See? Yeah, the miracle. Okay, beautiful. That is how they're epistemically justified. The Christians have a miraculous thing in their book, and then they have other things that aren't miraculous, but that we believe are distorted. Within their position, they're justified to take the truths and not the falsehoods because of the miraculous descriptions of the Prophet. Once they see that, they use that over those just historical descriptions. That's the point. There's nothing that is part of ilm al-ghaib, that is part of the miracles, knowledge of the unseen, that's in their books, that is contradictory with Islam. So, for example, there's nothing clear that talks about a dying, rising man God, for example. If that was the case, then yeah, they would have a point now and we have to go back and forth. But there isn't. Is there good prophecy of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ that has them becoming Muslim? Yes. So they should become Muslim. There you go. And then they should judge. Then because they take the miraculous stuff within their books, they're justified to only take the true parts. Does that make sense for everyone, or do you want me to go through it one more time? Any questions? Makes sense, yeah. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to continue because most are saying that. How do you determine what is miraculous and what isn't? So if something's a description of the future in detail, and someone predicted it hundreds of years later, that's miraculous. What isn't miraculous is something that a human could potentially write that isn't inspired by God. Understood? So if a human can do it without inspiration, and that it's like not completely improbable, then that'll be something on the side that isn't miraculous. Surah 930 is incompatible with the gospel. Okay, bro. You can come up and bring up Quran 930. We can talk about it. Just wait for me to finish this response, okay?
When will he get it, do you think?
Never, because his entire argument is built upon it. I mean, the entire argument from conscious edits is built on this. And if he throws it out, he throws out his whole argument, and he would concede the Islamic dilemma. He won't want to do that. He doesn't want to personally concede it.
The Quran. Muslims will say the Bible's been corrupted, but then why does the Quran say that Allah revealed the Torah and the Gospel? Also, the Quran says Allah's word.
Okay, so this guy is saying, if the Quran says it's corrupted, then why does the Quran say that Allah revealed the Torah and the Gospel? That's like saying Moses isn't alive. Then why does the Quran say he was alive in the past? What? That's such a non
How
sequitur.
can you?
The
How
Quran
are you
say-
this? How are you this bad at philosophy, Dean? Like, how are you this bad at reasoning, dude? I'm just look. In your own best interest, I think it's time you back off.
Back off and take a crap for you because you want to see if I poop. Yo, this guy, man. Look at he just doesn't respond. He just says a bunch of nothing. He just says a bunch of nothing. Guys, he said let me replay what he said over time. Let's see what he says in the actual video. This is the clip in the video that made me say, yes, bro, I'm responding. I am definitely responding to this. Look how stupid this is. Sec.
Never, because his entire argument is built upon it. I mean, the entire argument from conscious edits is built on this. And if he throws it out, he throws out his whole argument, and he would concede the Islamic dilemma. He won't want to do that. He doesn't want to personally concede it.
The Quran. Muslims will say the Bible's been corrupted, but
Okay, Muslims will say the Bible's been corrupted. Okay? Let's write this down, actually. Where can we write this down? Guys, like up the live as well. I know it's not a good time, but like up the live so more people can benefit, inshallah. Okay, let me share my screen here. Okay, here we go. So, Muslims will say the Bible has been corrupted. Okay. Let's make this bold and let's make it nice and big. Let's make sure it's not sloppy and loose like the poop that Than's been dreaming about. Let's make sure it's nice and big. Here you go. So Muslims will say the Bible has been corrupted. Let's see what he says next, okay?
then why does the Quran say that Allah revealed the Torah and the Gospel? Also, the Quran says Allah's word.
Okay, so this guy is saying, sorry. I didn't mean to play that.
Corrupted, but then why does the Quran say that Allah revealed the Torah?
Okay, but then why does Allah say He revealed the Torah and the Gospel? Why then does Allah say He revealed the Torah and the Gospel? That's Stan's argument. Muslims say the Bible's been corrupted. But why then does Allah say He revealed the Torah and the Gospel? Does anyone see any tension between these statements here? Is there any contradiction, any tension, anything that doesn't make sense? You're right, but I should concede, bro. It's an amazing syllogism, yeah. Get the really, you can't let you be this slow. Yeah. Okay. because Allah revealed it in the past, now it's distorted. Then like what?
And the gospel. Also, the Quran says Allah's word.
Okay, so this guy is saying, if the Quran says it's corrupted, then why does the Quran say that Allah revealed the Torah and the Gospel? That's like saying Moses isn't alive. Then why does the Quran say he was alive in the past? Like what? That's such a non sequitur.
How can you?
The Quran
How are
could
you
say-
this? How are you this bad at philosophy, Dean? Like, how are you this bad at reasoning? Dude, I'm
Look at all that projection. Yes, I do.
just look, in your own best interest, I think it's time you back off. Because every single time you come after me, you embarrass yourself over and over and over and over again. I actually feel sympathy for you right
Are
now.
we doing this, or you doing slides, or no?
He's not done yet, so we can finish.
Let's put him back up. Then I thought you were ready to do slides.
Say it's been changed, and yet the Torah and Gospel were 100% true at the time of Moses and at the time of Jesus. Clearly says previously. The Torah and the Gospel were revealed previously as a guide for the people.
Yes, they were previously revealed. That's what it's saying. Not that they were previously the guide.
Right there. What? They were previously revealed, not that they were previously a guide. Oh my god. Oh my god. First of all, Than doesn't even say that. Than says, let's bring it up so make sure we don't. Than says, why then does Allah say He revealed the Torah and Gospel? He doesn't say, why then does Allah say He revealed the Torah and Gospel as guidance at the time? He doesn't specify any of that. This guy Than's just regurgitating stuff, not knowing the arguments. It's so clear. And as you're going to see, I'm going to show more evidence he's just regurgitating stuff, not knowing. Guys, they got Than, IP, Jan Doc, David Wood, King Silv. All these guys are coming together. And I'm telling you, bro, the vast majority of the stuff is coming from myself. Some stuff I collaborated with brothers and I spoke to them about, and I got confirmation on these things. But the vast majority of the stuff, bro, I've been soloing this for so long, for years, bro. And Than just showing that he's not on that level, dude. You're not on that level. You're not on my level, my guy. So clear. You're just regurgitating nonsense you're hearing from the people around you.
At their times. But today, they've went through a sort of tampering, as the Quran mentions in chapter 5, verse 13. يُحَرِّفُونَ الْكَلِمَ عَنْ مَوَاضِعِهِ.
They distorted the words of the scripture and neglected a portion of what had been.
Yep.
Okay. They're neglecting. Okay, so how does it say they're distorting it? Does it say that they change
Right,
the words?
one
No, it
sec.
doesn't. If you read the Quran in context,
This is
it's
the
talking
best
about
part.
distorting of the tongues.
مَوَاضِعِهِ, as well as in chapter 2, verse 79, that mentions
No, the context has nothing to do with tongues there. Nothing in the context says tongues there, by the way. So, yeah, you could say it's oral, sure. But it could also be textual. He's not giving a reason why it's not textual. And the reason why we say we prefer that also includes text is because we see the conscious edits being made. And obviously the conscious... Bro, everything just links back to the conscious edits clip where I got him. Really. That's a justification that the Quran intends also textual falsification.
How does it say they're distorting it? Does it say that they change the words? No, it doesn't. If you read the Quran in context,
is
it's
the
talking
best
about
part.
distorting of the tongues.
مَوَاضِعِهِ, as well as in chapter 2, verse 79, that mentions the distortion of the Torah. But regardless,
All right. No, it doesn't. As we
Right.
pointed out, Surah 279 does not mention distortion of the Torah. It doesn't say that. If anything, it's probably referring to the Talmud, because the very next verse, Surah 280, refers to a line of Rosh Hashanah 17a about being in the hellfire for a temporary time.
This is the part where I was hoping you'd go through the 279 slides if you wanted to.
Yeah,
Or we can just skip it.
hold on. Let me put this up.
And then while you're doing that, I will be right back because I don't know if I need to throw up or not. So I'm
Sweet
gonna go. I'm gonna go try so that way I don't do it on camera. I'll be back.
Yeah. So as Giant DOC have pointed out, when Ibn Abbas is
As وقال الحجة حجة الإسلام جاي عندك شيخ الإسلام جاي عندك. Yeah, these guys, by the way. Let's bring this up. These guys. Hujjat al-Islam Jay and Doc. You got Jay here, who just looks like a bootleg Chris from Speaker's Corner. And then we got this girl with him, who apparently is an ex-Muslim. I don't know, there's contradictory details about her being ex-Muslim, Allahu A'lam. But both of them make extreme blunders. We've exposed this in the past. And I'll say here right now, Jay and Doc, I challenge you to a debate. Did Jesus prophesize Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam? You guys can do, both of you guys. You guys come in a pair, no problem. 2v1. Did Jesus prophesy Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam? We could do a formal debate. We could do it on a Christian platform. Come and debate it. That's my debate topic. I'll even debate your debate topic too, no problem. Let's debate it. You guys show your faces now. You guys built up the courage to show your faces after getting funded $30,000 in 2 days by David Wood and his followers. So now that you guys got your funding you needed, and you guys got the courage, built up the courage to actually do this now, let's debate. We can even do a 2v1. I don't mind at all. Jay, you need your wife with you? No problem, bro. You can debate it. On a Christian platform, topic of your choice, with my topic. Bro, you guys think my topic is trash. You guys think that it's terrible. Jesus prophesying the Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. You guys think that's a terrible argument. Let's debate it. So this is the source of Inspiring Philosophy and Than's stupidity. They get it from these two. These are the brains, so-called brains. Don't mock for their looks, Akhi. I don't know if you're new to this or not, but these guys insult the Messenger, alayhi salatu wasalam. They insult Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They, not just that, put it that aside. Let's say they didn't do that. They insult our looks. You expect me to be nice and, you know, petite with them. You're dreaming. You're dreaming. Okay. So let's look at what nonsense they've supplied for Inspiring Philosophy. He doesn't know what he's getting himself into. He's miskeen.
I'm gonna go try so that way I don't do it on camera. I'll be back.
Yeah, so as Giant DOC have pointed out, when Ibn Abbas is commenting on this, he's saying that what it's referring to is that they substituted the Book of Allah. So you substituted the Book of Allah and changed it. It's a rebuke, and that's what's been pointing out here. The literal translation is they substituted. They replaced it with something else. And he actually refers to 279 verbatim here in the Tafsir of Ibn Kathir, for example. So that's what's going on. And that would make far more sense with the context, like I pointed out. 279 is not about the Torah. It's about the Talmud. That's why the Surah 280 references that. It goes right to it, and it refers to a line in there from Rosh Hashanah 17a. And then, of course, right after that, in Surah 285, Allah tells Jews to believe in all of their books.
Okay, wait. There's separate things he's bringing one after the other. So he's saying that بدلوا كتاب الله وغيروا. That the hadith is talking about, they substituted the book of God and changed it. And I'm talking about Uthman's actions to the Quran. بدلت كتاب الله وغيرته. You substituted the book of Allah and changed it. Okay. By the way, this refutes them, as I'm going to show. This phraseology of بدلوه وغيروه, this phraseology means tahrif, like changing of the book, as I'm going to show. This isn't talking about substituting a book, and this refutes the idea that it's talking about the Talmud, because there's no substitution going on here. It's a changing of the book. Okay. So as we're gonna see here, I actually refuted this a long time ago. Let's bring it up. They never responded to this. So let's bring this. So this is the actual reference so just give you a bit of context. The Khawarij, the extremists at the time of Uthman ibn Affan, may Allah be pleased with him, they were accusing Uthman of distorting the Quran. Obviously he didn't, but that was their claim. So let me ask you guys, do you think they were saying that you distorted the Quran, i.e. you have parts that are true, parts that are false? Or do you think they're saying, oh, you've substituted the whole Quran with a fake Quran, like the whole thing? What do you guys think? Let's check the chat. What do you guys think? Parts that are true, parts that aren't. Yep, we got parts. Beautiful. Okay, they're all on the same page. So on these sort of lives, guys, I want you guys to engage. 1, so I can make sure you guys are paying attention. 2, so that you guys can understand as well. Because like I said before, the main function of this whole thing is for you guys' education. So their source actually is useful for us, right? It's actually useful for us, as I'm going to play here. All right. Is that all no sound, guys? Dang. Give me a sec. 1 second. No way, there's no sound again. No sound again? No sound or what? Don't worry. Okay, I'll just explain it then. All good. Okay, let's bring it back. So this is بدلت كتاب الله وغيرته. This is the same quote they brought before, right? So the Khawarij are telling him, you've changed the book of God. Not that you've substituted it like how, the Jews, that's what they're saying. Like the Jews substituted the Torah with the Talmud. That's not what the Khawarij are saying. So it's not analogous. Actually, it supports us because they're saying you changed the Quran. There's parts that are true, there's parts that are false because you changed it. Badalta. So tabdeel here actually means change. Now, let's go here. I'll make the point also, Ibn al-Qayyim in his book, he uses the same terms. If I show just here, right there, he says the same term, tabdeel here, and ghayaruhu as well. The same root is used here. So he's talking about here the different views, the people that say
There is corruption, there isn't corruption. Then when he categorizes it, when he says some people they do believe in tabdil and that it's متغير, right? People believe that there is tabdil going on and they are changing it. This is one camp. And then this is one camp, this is one camp. The camp that says there is tabdil and that they are changing it are the group that actually believe in tahrif al-laf, the group that actually believes the texts are distorted. So he's using the words here, tabdil and ghayyar, to mean actual changing of the book, not substituting. Does that make sense? Look, the hadith that they brought from Ibn Abbas's hadith, baddalu wa ghayyaruhu. Same terms used in the roots used when Ibn Qayyim talks about it. And it's the same words in roots that are used by the Khawarij to mean distort, not completely substitute. Okay? Then this is the translation if you want to read it of what Ibn Qayyim is saying. So look, a group went too far and claimed that all or most is altered and changed. So most of it is substituted, he's saying? Obviously not. Okay. Let's keep playing.
It was something else. And he actually refers to 279 verbatim here in the Tafsir of Ibn Kathir, for example. So that's what's going on. And that would make far more sense with the context, like I pointed out. 279 is not about the Torah. It's about the Talmud. That's why the Surah 280 references that. It goes right to it, and it refers to a line in there from Rosh Hashanah 17a. And then, of course, right after that, in Surah 285, Allah tells Jews to believe in all of their book and not just parts.
It doesn't say believe in all your book and not just parts. It's condemning hypocrisy in chapter 2, verse 85. Let's bring that up. And by the way, he was too scared. He was way too scared to bring up 285 to me when we were talking about conscious edits. Why didn't you bring up 285 to me when I brought up conscious edits? Why were you so scared? Bring it up to me. If you believe it's so good, such a good argument, bring up 285. Let's look what 285 says. But here you are, killing each other and expelling some of your people from their homes, aiding one another in sin and aggression. When those expelled come to you as captives, you still ransom them, though expelling them was unlawful for you. Do you believe in some of the scripture and reject the rest? Is there any reward for those of you who do so among you in disgrace in this worldly life and be subjected to the harshest punishment of the day of judgment? For Allah is never unaware of what you do. Okay. So it says, do you believe in some of the scripture and reject the rest? I have a question. Guys, first, did anyone use this verse, whether it be Christian or Muslim, who believes that the Quran is saying there's no tahrif? Because some Muslim scholars said, yeah, the Quran doesn't believe that the Torah and Gospel are distorted. Like, we can find ikhtilaf on everything, pretty much. Some Muslim scholars said that. Okay, so one, and Ibn Qayyim mentions them. Now here, did these scholars that believe in no tahrif of the Torah and Gospel, wrongfully so, did they use this verse to prove their point? Yes or no? Just yes or no in the chat. Did any Muslim scholar use this as a point to prove that the Quran is saying there's no tahrif? Just yes or no in the chat. Let's see if you guys know. You got never. You got nope. We got no. I would assume not. Yep. No scholar. Not even the scholars. Not even the scholars who didn't believe in tahrif. Even they didn't bring it up. That's one. Two, second point, no Christian scholar ever brought it up when they were dialoguing with Muslims. Never. This is a modern cope made by these guys to try and combat general confirmation. This is a modern cope. Okay? Now this verse, just to start with, no one ever brought this up in terms of trying to say that the Quran is trying to confirm everything in the Torah. No Muslim scholar brought it up. No Christian scholar who's dialoguing with Muslims ever brought it up. It's only recently. Now, this is talking about hypocrisy. Not saying you can't believe in some and reject the rest in other contexts. It's saying you're a hypocrite because
Do you believe in some of the scripture and reject the rest in the context of what you have? You believe all this is scripture? Why are you rejecting parts and accepting parts? Don't you believe all of it's from God? So why are you doing this? It's denying hypocrisy. Saying hypocrisy is wrong. This sort of hypocritical approach to scriptures that you believe in will lead you towards the hellfire. That's what this is talking about. Now, the final point on this, to show that 285 is a crappy argument, is the fact that he couldn't rebut conscious edits. Conscious edits is sufficient to prove all of his interpretations of these verses are wrong. Okay? Let's continue.
Throwing the conscious edit argument. Because right there he says, right 6 verses later, believe in all of your book. If he was saying the parts of your books were corrupted,
It doesn't say believe in all your book. He's saying, why do you believe in parts of scripture and reject the rest in the context of what you believe is scripture? And it condemns hypocrisy. The early Mufassirin say this is talking about condemning hypocrisy. And yeah, this doesn't, just to show you that this interpretation is completely wrong, you just need to ask them, is the author of the Quran bringing innovative traditions that he doesn't believe is in the Torah? Yes. Therefore, he doesn't believe everything in the Torah is true. It's very simple.
the 279. Why would he then, 6 verses later, say that, yeah, you need to believe in all of your book, not just parts? And then he goes on to say again, over and over again, I'm confirming your scriptures, like Surah 291, 101, over and over again. He's there to confirm. So, making some super chats here. Hope you're feeling better, my fuzzy little fan, Peach. Oh, hey, Mike, God bless. Blessing you and your family. Stay strapped and get clapped. We're strapped.
Let's see.
They've been corrupted. Then he's confirming. In the very verse, he's confirming it.
Within the texts that the Jews and Christians have.
The Quran says Allah's words cannot change. Recite what has been revealed to you.
Okay, just so we know, this is a minor point when it comes to the Islamic dilemma. We don't even need to use verses like Surah 18:27. This is just like the icing on the cake. He's going to spend a lot of time on this, though.
From the book of your Lord, none can change the words of Allah. But wait, if the gospel's from Allah and Allah's words cannot be changed, but the gospel's been corrupted, that means Allah's words can be changed, making the Quran false.
he doesn't like the fact that I completely decimated him on this point. He's like, oh, he spent quite a long time on this point. Oh, yeah, because you guys made such a stupid argument.
Because remember, the Quran states that the Torah and the gospel are the preserved words of Allah to this day.
So he's equivocating on what word of Allah means there.
Okay.
Every single
Wait,
verse.
I want to pause right there really quickly before he goes off on this spiel.
Okay.
Because he begins this segment previously by saying what I'm pointing out as a non sequitur and fails to connect this data point to the overall argument that I'm making. Once again, guys, this is just Dean not tracking how premises and conclusions work. I just really
Yo, Ankh is yapping, bro.
wanted to point that out. That's all.
Single verse of the Quran that talks about La mubaddila kalimat Allah, where it talks about there's no changing of God's words. The best interpretation is always that this is talking about God's promise. The term no changing of God's words most plausibly means there's no changing of God's command or his promise. Okay, so we're going to show this right here. Starting with chapter 6, verse 34. It says, indeed, messengers before you were rejected, but patiently endured rejection. And persecution until our help came to them. And Allah's promise to help is never broken. Really, what that is in a literal translation is, وَلَا مُبَدِّلَ لِكَلِمَاتِ اللَّهِ. There, and no one can alter the words of Allah. There's no changing of God's words, it's saying. There's no changing of God's words, that's what it's saying, right? But it does not mean the Torah and the Gospel, obviously. No one would ever say in context, this means the Torah and the Gospel. And actually, this phrasing always means promise, like I
The funny thing is, this is not even the verse you brought up.
said before.
No.
We're going to prove that.
Bro, look how stupid this guy is. Oh, okay, let me put the voice on real quick.
Well, actually, this isn't the verse that Than put up.
Well, where did I say in my video that's where Than pulled, that's a verse that Than pulled up? I never said that, you idiot. I'm giving verses first to show you that La mubaddila li kalimat Allah in this sort of phraseology always means promise, retard.
Let's go to the
Okay, so
next example.
He goes through a
Number
bunch of these.
64. For them is good news in this worldly life and the hereafter. There is no change in the promise of Allah. That is truly the ultimate triumph. Let's look at the Arabic. La tabdila li kalimat Allah. No change is there in the words of Allah. No changing of the words of God. So these are the types of phrasing Allah SWT uses to mean his promise. So now when we go to the verses that Than and them like to bring, we know now that at least 2 verses where this phrasing is used, it means the promise. And I'm making the bold claim that it always means the promise, as we're going to see in a second. Here's one.
It always means that. That's.
Yep.
I'd like to see that justified, because if we go, first of all, these.
All right, guys, before I keep playing, I'm going to say this in the most neutral way possible, okay? I want you guys to think about what I'm saying. I want to see if you guys can track. I'm going to say 2 options. First option is, so I'm going to give 2 options here. Am I saying that the phraseology always means promise, or am I saying that the word kalima always means promise? What am I saying? I'll try to say that in the most natural way possible. Which option? Is it 1 or option 2? What am I saying here? So option 2 is I believe that kalima always means promise in the Quran. The first one is that I believe the phraseology is the case, that it always means promise, not just the one, just not just the word of God. Okay, we got phrase first. Okay, beautiful. Yeah, so it's the phrase, okay, not the word. Okay, let's see if you guys are right.
Other places we again, not the verses we would use, but even with that, let me just pull up the lexicon here. Why are they not doing that in the lexicon is my question. So
yeah, I mean, I asked a couple of our Arabic speaking friends about this, and the reaction was, he's lying.
That tends to be the case here.
So if you what are you pulling up? Sorry,
I was gonna pull up the lexicon.
Go for it.
So 1064, if we just go down to it, the words, and if we click on that, it's always rendered as words, speaking. Now there's another word that can be translated as promises, since Surah 10:4, for example.
You guys see how dumb these guys are? They thought I was saying the word kalima always means promise. You guys see what we're dealing with here? These guys apparently get funded tens of thousands of dollars for their research. Tens of thousands of dollars, Christians going down the drain, supplying these guys. I mean, keep doing it. I would advocate for Christians to do that, because it just shows how pathetic their critiques are in Islam. Even you give them all the funding, all the time in the world, all the master's degrees in philosophy and whatnot, they're still going to be made to look like a fool when they critique Islam. Sorry, guys. Let me just restart my StreamYard because the comments are not coming through. So just to recap, they were saying that I was saying kalima always means promise, which I'm not saying. I was saying la mubaddila li kalimatihi is what it's referring to.
So I mean, same surah, because it was one that he brought up here. Where is it? Did I pass it up there? Yeah, here we go. Click on that. This was the word for promise. So why is Allah not explaining this in his fully clear and detailed Quran?
Oh, you're shifting the goalposts now. Stop shifting the goalposts.
Okay, these are different words. So issue there. But anyway, the lexicon is not agreeing with him. And these are the scholars that are making this lexicon. So that's an issue right there. But again, this is
The lexicons don't agree. Guys, what do you think he means by the lexicons don't agree? The lexicons don't agree that could ever be used that way? Is that what he's saying? Because if he's, I don't really know what he's saying. That I genuinely don't know what he's saying. That is he saying there that it doesn't ever mean promise and it's meant to be another word? Is that what he's trying to say? Because did he not read these verses? Indeed, messengers before you were rejected, but patiently endured rejection, persecution, so help came to them. And Allah's promise is never broken. Is he trying to say that doesn't mean promise there? So, in terms of it can never be used that way, obviously that's not, he can't be saying that. So, I don't know what the heck he's saying.
To mean his promise. 2 verses. Here's one.
It always means that. That's.
Yep.
I'd like to see that not the verses we would use.
Yeah, I already justified it because we're going to see every verse this phraseology comes, it always means promise.
But even
He-
click on that. And these are the scholars
Yeah.
that are making this lexicon. So that's an issue right there. But again, this is for me, this is not even a big issue. Like this is not my
It's
go-to
not.
place. But yeah, go ahead.
It's not a big.
Yeah, it's not a big issue now that you've been refuted thoroughly. Yeah. Okay. Okay, buddy. Okay. You know, I lick my lips whenever I hear them saying, "Oh, but the words of Allah can't be changed." Testify Apologetics runs it. They run it. David Wood, all of them run it, and they get destroyed on this. They'll get destroyed on this by me. As you just saw, like, even though we're not even debating right now, they look utterly defeated. Like, they have no response there.
Big issue. I mean, but you could also just go to Ibn Kathir. He likes Ibn Kathir. He just alluded to him, right?
Yep.
His thing on Surah 378, who distort the book with their tongues. I mean, they alter them, Allah's words. He says Al-Bukhari reported that Ibn Abbas said that the ayah means that they alter and add, although none among Allah's creation can remove the words of Allah from his books. And you get the point. This is talking about what, Mike? Is this talking about Allah's promises?
No, it's not. It's words.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Fan, you cannot be that stupid. When did I ever say word only means promise? I never said that. I said the phrase. لا مبدل لكلماته. لا تبديل. That is what I was saying. Why the hell would I say word cannot mean other than that? I never said that. Kalam Allah. Obviously, I believe that the Quran is Kalam Allah, you idiot. Retard. Oh, I'm actually getting a headache right now. Man.
I don't have a slide on this, but if you, because I just looked it up, but if you go to Ibn Kathir 1827, which is the verse we were talking about in the original reel, it reads, the command to recite the Quran and to patiently keep company with the believers, commanding his messenger to recite his holy book and convey it to mankind. Allah says, none can change his words, meaning no one can alter them, distort them, or misinterpret them. Nothing about promises here.
Yeah, it's weird argument. But let's get back to the important verses here.
Wait. This idiot. Wait. What did he, that's not, bro, from what I remember, I might be wrong. Chat, I might be wrong. So don't call me on this. I'm willing to admit I might be wrong here. That does not sound like Ibn Kathir on 1827. Let's hear that one more time.
What, Mike? Is this talking about Allah's promises?
No, it's not. It's words.
Yeah. I don't have a slide on this, but if you, because I just looked it up, but if you go to Ibn Kathir 1827, which is the verse we were talking about in the original reel, it reads, the command to recite the Quran and to patiently keep company
Okay, beautiful. So let me look at this. Okay, yeah, no, he got the quote right. But Ibn Kathir, despite him saying this, if we just go here, keep reading. So let's keep reading what he says here from Ibn Kathir. Meaning no one can alter them, distort them, or misinterpret them. So Ibn Kathir believes it's talking about the Quran. That is a valid take. I don't mind that. Okay. But I believe that that's not right in that I believe it's always talking about the promise of Allah. Can it have an added layer of meaning of Quran? Sure, it could mean the Quran as well. That's what the Salaf says. But at-Tabari, tafsir at-Tabari is taken greater than Ibn Kathir. I'll show you what Tabari says on this ayah. Just 1 second. Let me just make sure I get this right. Okay, beautiful. So, him quoting Ibn Kathir doesn't do anything, because just because you quote Ibn Kathir, guys, that doesn't mean I'm going to change my position. Because someone greater than Ibn Kathir believes that this is talking about God's promise, which is Tafsir al-Tabari. All right, beautiful. 1 second. So it's only in Arabic, guys. So let me just get it translated for you guys. Let's see, Tafsir al-Tabari. So no one's going to say Ibn Kathir is a greater authority than al-Tabari. Okay. This is going to be what I'm going to be translating, okay? So anyone that could read Arabic, you can read that here. You can screenshot it, do whatever you want. Here you go. Okay. As you guys can already see, it talks about the word promise right there. Another word that can mean promise. So you guys can look at the original Arabic here before I get this translated. I looked at this the other day. Okay, beautiful. So let me just send myself the translation. Actually, you know what? I got this paint thing up already. Yeah, let's do that. Let's use this. So this is the translation for Tafsir al-Tabari. Here we go. So this is Tafsir al-Tabari, chapter 18, verse 27. There is no change of his words. That is, no one can alter what he has promised through his words, which he revealed to you concerning the people who disobey him and those who act contrary to this book that we have revealed to you. So no one can alter what he has promised through his words. Okay. This is from Tafsir al-Tabari in chapter 18, verse 27. So here, chapter 18, verse 27 can be, no one can change the promises that Allah has given to you within his book, which is the Quran, right? That's the whole context there.
Company with the believers, commanding his messenger to recite his holy book and convey to mankind. Allah says, none can change his words, meaning no one can alter them, distort them, or misinterpret them. Nothing about promises here.
Yeah, it's weird argument.
All right, beautiful. Nothing about promises there, but when you go someone that came centuries before, who's a greater mufassir, he does mention promise there. So thanks for cooking yourself. If you're going to appeal to the mufassirin, make sure you know what the mufassirin say. Because you just cooked yourself. Now they're going to say, oh, I don't care what Tabari says. Okay, so why do you quote Ibn Kathir, who's like not as good as a Tabari?
Okay, let me share my screen here. All right, done.
Let's get back to the important verses here.
Here's one example. Recite what has been revealed to you from the book of your Lord. None can change his words, nor can you find any refuge besides him. So
Now, the reason why we use this is because he just read the context. It doesn't appear to be promises. It's about the words of the book. Because the verse says, recite what has been revealed to you from the book of your Lord. None can change his words. What are in books' words? That makes far more sense.
I'm going to make the bold claim, like I said before, that la mubaddila li kalimatihi means there's no changing of his words.
I would like to see that in Ibn Kathir, Jalalain. Where is that?
You wanted to see an Ibn Kathir Jalalain. I'll do you one better. At-Tabari, Tafsir at-Tabari. What are you going to do now, huh? Man, these guys are ignorant as hell.
Okay? And you can tell from the context, actually, this means none can change his words, as in none can change his promise, as we're going to see. Say, O Prophet, says the verse before, Allah knows best how long they stayed with him alone, is the knowledge of the unseen of the heavens and the earth, how perfectly he hears and sees. They have no guardian besides him, and he shares his command with a none. So his command links to what? No changing of his words. His words are his command.
No, that doesn't follow. He shares his command with none. Okay, that's not like parallelism. That's not the same as saying none can change his words. And by the way, 1827 shifts the context to reciting what is in the book.
Yeah.
Therefore, none can change his words is probably referring to that line, not the previous context.
Yeah, the book is the Quran, which contains the promises of what's going to be fulfilled.
And no one can find any refuge besides him links back to they have no guardian besides him.
Yo, Christians in the chat, like, I appreciate you sticking here and watching your boy get absolutely belted throughout the whole thing. I appreciate that. But don't speak out of ignorance as well, because you're going to humiliate yourself as well. All of you guys are humiliating yourself on this live. No proper Muslim scholar will ever say Tabari is less of an authority on tafsir than Ibn Kathir. No one. You'd be an idiot to say that. It's not just because he comes earlier, it's because of his encyclopedic knowledge.
So there's actually a parallel going on between these two verses to prove that this is talking about the promise. Now, here's another verse he didn't bring. This is another verse they like to bring. So we're going to
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
make sure every single one of these mean promise. So this is the verse, chapter 6, verse 115.
Uh-huh.
The word of your Lord has been perfected in truth and justice. None can change his words, and he's the all-hearing, all-knowing. So again, it says, La mubaddila li kalimatihi. Okay, there's no one can change his words. Almost identical phrasing for each one. Then if you look here, look what it says. This is the context. Say, O Prophet, should I seek a judge other than Allah while he is the one who has revealed to you the book with the truth perfectly explained? Those who were given the scripture know it has been revealed to you from your Lord in truth. So do not be one of those who doubt. So this is talking about the description of the Prophet being fulfilled.
Okay. Say, O
I wonder-
Prophet. Go ahead.
I was just going to make a joke. Go ahead.
Say, O Prophet, should I seek a judge other than Allah while he is the one who has revealed for you the book? Perfectly explained. There it is again. It's perfectly explained, but it doesn't actually explain that this phrase is referring to promises. Okay. That right there is already kind of ironic. Those who were given the scripture know that it has been revealed to you from your Lord in truth, so do not be one of those who doubts.
Dude, something can be perfectly explained while it's not clear to you because you're ignorant. So something can be perfectly clear and plain and explained in Arabic and within its cultural context, and it wouldn't be clear to you because you're ignorant of it. Okay. So one example, right? Cats and dogs. Is it clear for everyone when I say cats and dogs, it's raining cats and dogs, that it's not that's not actually raining cats and dogs? Is that clear for everyone? Obviously, yes. That's clear. When I say it's raining cats and dogs, no one's going to think it's ambiguous. They're going to think, oh, yeah, he's clearly saying it's raining hard. Okay? That's the same thing. If there's something like that, so just to show you, that's a clear statement when I say that. If someone comes from a different cultural context and they don't know, right? They don't know about that sort of saying, then they'll think, what do you mean by it's raining cats and dogs? That's not clear. So the cultural context, the vicinity you're living in, as well as your level of knowledge of the language, all these are things that make stuff unclear for you because you're a jahil. It's because you're ignorant.
Okay, it's again talking about the scripture, the book. which contains the words of Allah, apparently, which he says none can be changed. I don't see this context. I think works against him. It seems to be referring to the scriptures, the books, which contain the words, not just promises.
By the way, even the book here is the Quran. So even if we grant him that, it's still talking about the Quran.
They know he's found within their scriptures, and therefore his promise has been fulfilled to send the prophet, and none can change his promise to send.
Notice again that he says they know that Muhammad is found in their scriptures. That's what the Quran is claiming. Once again, the Quran is not claiming our books have been corrupted. It's claiming that we distort it with our speech, our tongues, or we hide things in it.
Nope, Conscious Edits refutes you on that. Everyone can replay it to see it.
To send the prophet, and he has been fulfilled to truth. That's what the context is
It's
saying.
basically wait.
There's so much in this that just debunks him.
No,
in so many
wait,
ways.
something just clicked. Something just clicked. It's like no wonder these Dawa guys all just psychologically project their own insecurities onto us because the Quran is doing that in of itself. They know Muhammad's in the Bible. They're just lying and they're distorting everything.
Okay, yeah, I believe that. I believe you're distorting everything. You're ignorant. You're a jahil. You don't know the contexts, and therefore, that's why you don't accept the Prophet ﷺ. Debate me, Than. Let's have a debate. I'm not going to debate inspiring philosophy because he's going to debate Libiano on this already. Than, debate me specifically on this. Did Jesus prophesy Muhammad ﷺ? So simple. Like, bro, you guys are saying, oh, the Quran, blah, blah, blah. Like, bro, okay, bro. If you believe that it's so false, debate me. Debate me. Did Jesus prophesy Muhammad ﷺ? Very simple. Even Sam Shamoun before, I don't know if you guys saw, look at the beginning of the live. Sam Shamoun is running from a formal debate. I asked everyone for our fourth time, who wants to debate formally whether Jesus prophesied Muhammad ﷺ? A Christian hit me up, said, I'll moderate it. I said, no problem. Let's do a formal debate. Me and Sam, no problem. Then he said, no, it's not going to be a formal debate. You're going to have 5-minute intros and the rest is going to be open dialogue. Like, what? What are you talking about, man? Get out of here. You guys are all running from this topic. Every single one of you. Not one person hit me up and said, okay, I'm more respected within the Christian community. I know the Gospels well. Let's debate if Jesus prophesied Muhammad ﷺ. Not one of you guys are pulling up.
And they're stupid.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Dawa guys are doing the same thing. Like,
that's exactly, yeah. The Quran gives them a superiority complex where they get to talk down to us and pretend we're stupid or evil. Like, it's what the Quran does. And then they get mad when I point to.
Doesn't the Didache talk about non-believers being dogs? Similar to how Jesus calls the woman a dog? Pull that up. Someone who doesn't baptize, they're like a dog, apparently. Yeah. So this is from the teaching of the 12, apparently. It's the traditions that were passed down by the disciples. There you go. It's from the Didache, chapter 9. But let no one eat or drink your Thanksgiving Eucharist, but they who have been baptized into the name of the Lord. For concerning this also the Lord said, give not that which is holy to the dogs. Someone not baptized, you describe them as a dog. You don't give them. You don't give them that bread.
Studies that show that Islam leads to harm, hate, discrimination, persecution.
Well, actually, Islam leads to and proper obedience to Jewish law will also lead to everything you just said. Apparently, by your standards, that is right, by your human rights standards and UN and whatever. You know, God ordained slavery. He ordained cousin marriage. He ordained all these things. He ordained getting married to young girls. Keep shooting yourself in the foot, dog.
I mean, then I don't know what to tell you. It does.
Man.
This is what it does. But yeah, there's so much in this that just is problematic for him because it says that the Quran is perfectly explained. It's referring to the books and the scriptures in reference to his words. None of this is evidence. This is referring to promises. We're working against him.
Yep. By the way, the earliest tafsir on this by Muqatil bin Sulaiman says this is about promise, the promise of sending the prophet. And it's very clear because look at this. The word of your Lord has been perfected in truth and justice. What has been perfected in truth and justice? The fact that the Prophet was going to be sent. So it was perfected by the Prophet's sending. And they knew that the Prophet was going to be sent. That was the promise by Allah. And now they see it in action. So it's quite obviously talking about the promise here.
Talking about God's promise. God's promise of sending the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Why do I never call Christian? Why would I?
All right, let's move ahead because he's going to do an ad, and he's going to complain about Christian Prince, who I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't even know what that has to do with this.
Yeah, it was kind of weird that was included. I was like, what? Okay,
Maybe it was like from a stream or something like that. I don't know.
probably, yeah.
My guy. That
Yo, Than finally had more IQ points than IP. Props to Than, guys. All right, let's see. Have you read Abraham Fulfilled? If so, thoughts? I did. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Recently, you helped the revert Christian to Islam with the Enoch arguments. Could we get a video on these? Yes, inshallah, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Inshallah. Why don't you collab with Central Doubt? I don't collab with many people. I try to stick on my lane, in my own lane mostly. I try to do my own stuff. But inshallah, yeah, when I start giving da'wah more in real life, I'll collab with more brothers, inshallah. Salam akhi, why don't you use Bukhari 7523? Because they admitted they're doing an external critique. So I think they already admit that internally there's no contradiction. So yeah, you could use narrations like that. Dan has a brain of an ankabut. I'm sorry, but Sufi Quran tafsir is superior. Okay, bro. You can stick with your Illuminati tafsir. Let's see. But yeah, guys, thanks for the donations. Let's continue.
and Mr. Poop Dilemma. Mr. Khara Dilemma.
Oh, you said poop. We're in kindergarten, apparently.
Dean, do you poop?
Yo, they get so pissed. That gets so rage baited.
And he's going to complain about Christian Prince, who I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't even know what that has to do with this.
Yeah, it was kind of weird that was included. I was like, what? Okay,
Maybe it was like from a stream or something like that. I don't know.
probably, yeah.
My guy. Dan. Mr. Poop Dilemma. Mr. Khara Dilemma.
Oh, you said poop. We're in kindergarten, apparently.
Dean, do you poop?
You understand?
Dean, is that the level of intelligence of your audience that you just
Yeah,
have to play
seriously.
that?
Hey, maybe we should write. Maybe we need to run a poll in the chat.
Yo, look how insecure this guy is. He starts saying, "Oh, maybe we should have a poll in the chat. Who looks worse, me or Dean?" When you mentioned the poop dilemma.
Mr. Khara Dilemma.
Oh, you said poop. We're
Call him Khara dilemma. Let's call him Abu Khara. Abu Khara.
in kindergarten, apparently.
Dean, do you poop?
You understand?
Dean, is that the level of intelligence of your audience that you just
Yeah,
have to play
seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot I added that little clip in there.
Dean, do you poop?
You understand?
He comes so quick as well because it's sped up. Yeah, let me slow it down. Yeah, yo, I got him holding his mic for dear life right now. Yeah, that's hilarious.
And
Dean, is that the level of intelligence of your audience that you just
Yeah,
have to play
seriously.
that?
Hey, maybe we should write. Maybe we need to run a poll in the chat. I don't know how to do that though, Mike. So maybe you have to do it.
The poll?
What's the poll? I'm trying to figure out how to word this question. Basically, it's this. Is Dean trying to highlight the poop dilemma, showcasing how stupid he is, or does it look bad on me?
Okay, let's do that exact thing. Let's do a poll here. All right, let's do a poll. When Dean brings the poop dilemma up, does Than look bad or Dean? So we got Than We got Dean. All right, guys. There you go. That's your poll. But I'm doing this for fun. He's doing it because he's actually insecure right now.
Poop comment. Say that again. Is Dean highlighting the poop comment? What?
Bad for showing that he's showing how stupid he is, or is it bad for me for some reason? I don't even know why it's bad. It's just literally like, hey, this guy said poop.
Yo.
All right. Is Dean highlighting the poop comment bad for Dean or bad for Than? There. Starting
go.
the poll. Boom. All right, everybody. You can now vote in that lovely poll. Anyway.
That John Fontaine's position is that it was present in Medina. They could have judged by it in the 7th century.
Wait, pause right there, pause right there.
What?
When I made this video, I had no clue who John Fontaine is.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's where it comes from. I know. You made this like months ago.
This is like my first like week or two of like studying Islam. It's just
Yeah, this was like an assignment now.
Why would, if it's lost, then why does the Quran say to judge by it? That's not the other position. The other position is that it's lost. Despite it being lost, at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, people could judge by it, but it was just lost afterwards.
Yo, he just admitted that he does videos without doing proper research. Because how the heck are you making a video about the Islamic dilemma without knowing who John Fontaine is? That's like That's like literally the first point you start with. You probably know about John Fontaine. You'll know about probably my debate with Chris. Maybe Daniel's debate with David Wood. Daniel did trash in that debate, by the way. And Daniel's debate with Avery, and he did really bad on that one as well.
So you guys can't even steal.
That's what Than is asking. Where can we find
Yeah.
this? Dean is claiming you're strawmanning the position. He's strawmanning you. It's kind of like, dude, pot calling the kettle black much?
Man,
Yeah.
John Fontaine's position. I do disagree with John Fontaine's position, but
Yeah,
regardless,
and you said I think you said something on when he was talking with God Logic that it was like even like a kindergartner or something like that could debunk it. It's really bad. And
Right.
Dean's right about that. It is
Yeah, the way I phrased that, I repented from that and I asked forgiveness from Brother John Fontaine. I shouldn't have phrased it like that. That was like the first when I started giving dawah. And to be honest, at that time, I didn't know a lot of people actually took that position seriously. So I spoke to him about it. And yeah, that was very unwise of me to do that. And I'm willing to say that in public. And anytime someone brings that up, I'm going to say, I apologize to Brother John Fontaine. I take it back. It was unwise to say. And the setting as well where I said it was very unwise to say. And it is a valid Islamic position that scholars don't in the past. So even though it's valid, I don't believe it's sound. I don't believe it's a good position, but I still shouldn't have said it that way. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me for that.
really bad position.
You can't like strawman the guy.
Where is this mystery Injil? So here's the Islamic dilemma.
Where the mystery Injil is a whole separate question too. The Islamic dilemma, like, this is a whole different argument now. If you're going to tell John Fontaine where's the Injil, you just shift to the goalpost. I'm just being honest.
No, go ahead.
It's not shifting the goalpost, because if your response to the Islamic dilemma is the mystery Injil hypothesis, then you have to make your hypothesis testable. So it's not a completely different like side tangent. I'm just addressing a possible response to the Islamic dilemma.
Nope. No, then you have to say it's not a dilemma anymore. Now you're going to have to say, nope, it's not a dilemma. Now it's a different argument. So the dilemma's been addressed. It's not a dilemma anymore. But it's just that, to address the dilemma, this other position is weak, right? But to say that there's still a dilemma is wrong, because there's a third path. A possible third path proves that it's not a dilemma anymore.
Again, stop. You're showing everybody how philosophically inept you are. It's getting really sad.
I don't like John Fontaine's position. I don't think it's good. But I would still say it's valid. It's a valid Islamic position, and you're doing a terrible job at refuting it, bear in mind. So you can't refute his position, you can't refute ours. Regardless, this representation that he's going to put here is a false dichotomy, right? So he's falsely saying that there's only two options here, which is the Quran affirms the Bible, therefore the Bible's preserved, or the Bible is corrupted, and then it leads to like a contradiction, right? But when you look, you don't have to say, well, it's assuming this, right? It's assuming that the Bible is fully preserved or the Bible is fully corrupted. When there's a middle path, you can add right here, and I'll add it once this gets edited. You can say the Quran generally confirms the Bible, and this doesn't contradict the Quran, because the Quran does conscious edits of the Bible and chooses what's correct and what's false. Okay? And it's not circular, because the Quran is tending to judge by the truths. Once you accept that the Prophet ﷺ is found in your scriptures, the Quran mentions this in chapter 61.
Okay, but no, Dean, that's not the issue. You just
It's not circular because it's circular, guys. Okay, you just don't understand.
what he did is he made two different arguments. So if you believe that Muhammad is prophesied, then you're going to believe in Islam. But that still makes the argument circular because these are two separate arguments. Arguing
What? How is that circular? If the prophet's in your scriptures, and I'm telling you, you should believe in that and prioritize that over the falsehood because it's a mu'jiza, it's a prophecy. How is that circular, dude? Like, these guys are so... I don't even know what to say at this point.
Muhammad is in the Bible is different than the Islamic dilemma. So he's confusing two different arguments. You could believe, like, hypothetically, you could believe in the Quran because you think Muhammad is prophesied, and then that becomes your standard to believe in Islam, and then that gives you the ability to then pick out the true parts. But that's not the argument that we're trying to point out. The Islamic dilemma is a separate, entirely different argument. If you're trying to prop up Islam with different arguments, that's a separate issue than the Islamic dilemma, which debunks Islam.
Yeah.
And
No, bro, I'm addressing your claim of circularity. Like, what? How is this different? What?
And by the way, that does not end the circular argument that the conscious edits argument is, because again, that is a different argument over here. Muhammad is prophesied, therefore he's a true prophet.
Bro, you think he thinks conscious edits is still circular? Why didn't you say that when I was discussing with you, bro? What? Why wouldn't you say that? The whole time you're engaging with me, you believed it was circular and you're still engaging with me? Yo, this guy's a LARPer. Literal LARPer. He doesn't actually believe in the arguments he says.
Therefore we can believe in the Quran. That is different than the Islamic dilemma, which is over here, which is still circular, regardless if you're using other arguments to prop up Islam.
And if you recall, the meta level issues I brought up in the beginning, especially pertinently here, is going to be the epistemic, like probabilistic one. Your model Dean makes it mathematically impossible to prove that Muhammad is actually in the scriptures. You have to presuppose that as an axiom in order to get off the ground.
Right.
Found in scriptures. The Quran mentions this in chapter 61 verse 6, where Isa mentions Ahmed, how he prophesied the Prophet. You can find this in the Son of Man sayings or in the Paraclete. Chapter 7 verse 157 talks about Nabi al-Ummi, maktub عندهم في التوراة والإنجيل.
All right, let's get
It's just a yap session.
I mean, he's just repeating stuff we've already addressed.
Yeah, what? He's not addressing the arguments. Crazy. All right, there's actually an ending here.
To be a person, and I don't remember everything he says.
The gospel reveals a savior who doesn't contradict truth. He is the truth. His name is Jesus.
Yo, did I just hear
Watch me cook them. Watch me cook these guys.
from a Christian that Christianity doesn't contradict truth, even though you have to completely shift what identical means, and you have to completely shift on what a person means, and you have to completely shift on what all these things mean, and you have to completely shift on what no means in the Bible. You need to completely shift from
I'm glad you find it funny that you worship three gods then.
what is, why do you call me good? Only God is good means. You gotta say it's rhetoric.
It's literally a rhetorical question. That's not even controversial.
You gotta just say that Christianity
Guys,
when
it's okay because we don't have to shift on what it means to, say judge by the Torah and the gospel.
Yeah,
and it's not like Christians don't lean on thousands of years of philosophy and modern day philosophy as well, and they don't critique their own systems and philosophical metaphysics. It's not like Christians didn't, they're not the ones that started critical scholarship. No, it's not like any of that is the case.
Well, I mean, if you're a Muslim, you got to shift what confirm means. You got to shift what clear means. You got to.
Nope, we're not shifting. We just say we give a very simple explanation. And by the way, they don't even address the stuff I brought. They don't address that you have to shift on what identity means and so on. They don't even address it. They just say, "Oh, but you have the same problem, Dean."
Shift what word means, because now it means promises. You got to shift what believe means. Again, this is really just like projection at best. I mean, like, dude. And again, where does our book? Where does the Bible say it's clear and fully detailed, like the Quran does? It doesn't.
Okay, so he just admitted. Oh, he just admitted that believing in the Trinity is not clear. Damn. Thanks for admitting that the Trinity is not clear. All right, guys. Okay. I'm gonna take some guests in a second, but I just need to go pray. Okay, so I'm gonna just let this play out. If they say anything else.
So that's a problem for you.
And I'd also I would really like to know where he gets his definition of any of the words that he's saying, like person, all that stuff. Why do we need to go by your definition or understanding?
Good question.
Because it's the most intuitive definitions.
Question. So, anyway, we will be live tomorrow. We'll be going through.
Okay, no one cares. All right. So I'll be back, guys. I'll bring up the guests and then we can end it off here. Okay.